Indulging in your favorite classical dishes is nearly impossible when you're trying to live a healthy lifestyle. Eating a balanced diet is not only important for your long-term health, it gives you the energy to come home after a hard day and still go for that bike ride. Today I'm going to show you how to create healthy yet satisfying alternatives to some Indian staples. Who doesn't want the right energy to get the day started? My scrambled eggs will give you the kickstart your metabolism needs, while the gingery kick in my smoothie will keep you going until lunch. My take on keema mutter replaces the typical beef or lamb with bison. I've paired it with a spicy raisin dipping sauce, and I've used cool, crisp lettuce to help you shovel it into your mouth. A yellow lentil soup is the perfect update to your great-grandma's Kashmiri-style dal. This hearty soup eats like a meal and is an excellent addition to your soup repertoire. Let me show you how easy eating better can be. Healthy, delicious, and satisfying should be said in the same sentence. Waking up first thing in the morning and having to make breakfast is the absolute last thing on my mind. So let me show you today how to make an amazing, quick and easy breakfast with a twist. On today is my friend Andrea. Andrea, how's it going?
Good, thanks. I'm excited.
Awesome. Today we're going to make an incredible Indian-style scrambled eggs. Lots of really yummy ingredients that's really going to wake you up. And you're going to do a 2-fruit smoothie with peaches and mangoes and a couple of extra added hints inside. What do you think?
Yum, sounds delicious.
First of all, let's get our eggs going. So I'm gonna turn this pan onto medium, and let's put some coconut oil inside.
Well, it's better to heat at a high heat than olive oil or things like that.
Exactly, and it also adds a little bit of nice flavor, which is really good. And we're gonna let this melt out, and then we're gonna pop some mustard seeds inside and then add some curry leaves, which will be really yummy.
It'll be good flavor for the eggs too.
So I'm just gonna add some mustard seeds in. And then I'm gonna let these pop, and these will start to infuse inside our oil, which will be amazing. Just a few, maybe like half a teaspoon. And then we'll move into curry leaves. Have you ever seen these before?
No.
Give these a sniff. Or even like eat one raw.
Eat one.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Not too spicy.
Yeah, they're not spicy at all. They're like, really kind of florally, and they add a really nice flavor to it. And they're mostly used with these mustard seeds.
That becomes a lot more fragrant the hotter it gets, because they don't smell too much right now.
No, yeah, they'll become quite fragrant, and you can see they're slowly starting to pop. And that's when you gotta act a bit quickly. Now let's toss these curry leaves in. So now you see.
Okay, how many garlic cloves do you think?
Let's do one. What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Pop these up.
Yum.
Nice. Okay, now I'm gonna scrape in some black pepper. Go ahead.
Normally smash it and then cut it, or
Yeah,
should I use the garlic press?
Oh, whatever you want.
Tool.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do the garlic
Never
press.
cut garlic by hand. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use the garlic press instead.
Yeah, let's do it.
Might
Get it
as
right in
well.
here. Yeah. Nice.
And then I won't smell like garlic all day,
There we go.
except for my breath, thanks to these eggs.
Well, that's not bad. There's only 1 clove of garlic.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Normally I'd add lots.
That's right.
So you got that garlic in there. I'm also gonna add a bit of turmeric. And that's gonna add some really nice color to it. So let's mix that around. I'm also gonna grate in some ginger and let's let it kind of cook out a little bit. And while I'm doing that, why don't you slice half this onion thinly?
Perfect. Sounds good.
Yeah? I like keeping ginger inside the freezer because it grates so easily. Like, look at that.
Yeah, me too. And it lasts forever that way.
Yeah.
Like thinly sliced like this?
Yeah, thinly sliced like that, absolutely.
Like long thin strips like that? Yeah.
And I'm gonna get out the spatula and just start mixing this around. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this off the heat now.
Okay.
I'm gonna get the eggs going, and then once you're done slicing the onion,
Yep.
why don't you stick them in?
Perfect.
Feeling it?
Sounds
I've got 8
good.
eggs here. That should be enough for the 4 of us. Okay, while this is sauteing up, why don't you slice that chili and chop up some cilantro? What do you think?
Sounds good.
Yeah?
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Do you normally take out the seeds for a chili like this, or do you?
No, I'll leave them in.
And just slice like this?
Yeah, slice it down, yeah. So what we're gonna do is once these eggs are done, stir in these chilies, cilantro, and coconut. I think it'll add some really nice texture and some good bit of heat. Like you wanna be woken up in the morning.
That's right, this will get you going.
And like eating breakfast is really important for your metabolism. You wanna wake up first thing in the morning and get right off to a good start. Here, let me grab a fork.
Okay.
I'm gonna whisk up these eggs. Oh yeah, these onions are smelling excellent in here.
That smells so good.
And let's add a bit of milk to this. You like adding milk to your scrambled eggs?
Yes, always.
Okay, let's do that. So milk in. Get these out of here. Looks awesome.
Smells delicious.
Nice. There we go. So these onions are sauteing up. Let's season with a little bit of salt.
You need the salt or else you can't taste the eggs.
Okay, so why don't you get started on the smoothie?
Sounds good.
Yeah?
So I'm just gonna add some peaches. I'm gonna add some mango.
Oh, a
Fit.
bit of cilantro
There's
in.
some
That's
cilantro
okay.
in there, maybe that's our secret twist today. This is plain Greek yogurt.
Awesome. There we go. It's a good way to get protein too.
Yes,
it's like nice and
true.
thick. It'll give some
Makes you
creaminess.
full. And then this is vanilla coconut milk.
Yeah, that's gonna be really yummy.
Yum. And
Oh,
our
yeah.
Indian twist is just a pinch of cardamom, so
Yeah.
that'll be really good.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, let's do that. Let's add in some grated ginger. That gets your metabolism
yeah.
going. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good.
And we got it right here. Easy.
Nice. Wow, that smells good, that cardamom.
There we go. So before you turn that on, why don't I just get these eggs in? So these onions and everything are nice and soft. Boom. How's that looking?
Really good.
Oh, actually, these look really good.
These look really, really good. They smell amazing.
I can make this in the morning. Okay, so eggs are almost done. Let's save a little bit actually for garnish. Let's sprinkle in that and some coconut.
Oh,
And these will kind of get a bit toasted.
and sweetened, obviously.
Yeah. That looks like good. I like coconut. That's why they're in. And the chilies will really wake you up. Cilantro will add a nice herby flavor. Awesome.
Looks so good.
Plate.
Smells amazing.
This is basically the extent of what I'm able to do in the mornings. And let's do this. Oh yeah. Some more chilies, cilantro. Drink some?
Yeah, let's do
Let's do
this. Smells so good.
2 glasses.
Perfect. So mangoes, peaches, yogurts, vanilla coconut milk, and that cardamom and ginger.
Sounds great.
Sounds so good.
Get your metabolism going. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming by, hey?
Thank you.
This is really good.
So good.
Keema Muttar is a really amazing classic Indian dish. Ground beef and peas loaded with nice spices, but it can definitely do a number on your waistline as soon as you add in all the other accompaniments to go along with it. So I've thrown away the ground beef and I've brought in some ground bison. I have a pan heating here, so I'm just gonna add some olive oil into this pan. And you need to add a good amount of fat inside because bison is really lean. So in order to get the moisture content you need, you gotta add some fat, but we're gonna drain it out after. So we got a pound of bison, and you wanna just brown it really well. Shouldn't take too long. You want crispy bison. To make lettuce wraps, nobody wants like something soggy. So scrape this pan. This is going, let me add some salt. And we're gonna put in some cracks of black pepper. There we go. So while this bison is getting nice and golden brown, let me show you how to make a really incredible raisin chili dipping sauce to serve alongside these lettuce wraps. Start with 1 cup of golden raisins, pre-soaked in 1 cup of boiling water. Add the works to a food processor and blend until smooth. Add 1 tablespoon chopped cilantro. Add 1 tablespoon chopped mint. Add a thinly sliced green chili. Stir to combine and enjoy. My raisin chili dipping sauce is the perfect alternative to date tamarind chutney. So I'm just gonna add in a splash of oil, like not even a 1/4 teaspoon. And I got some diced white onions. Those are gonna go right in the pan, and you want these to start to get brown. Add some nice color to them. So you just scrape up all these bits from the bottom. The onions are helping you out. Nice. Yeah. Add a bit of salt, and that will help bring out some of the moisture in the onions. So while these are going, let's add in some chopped garlic and ginger. Already smelling good. So let's add in some turmeric right to the pan. Let's add in some whole cumin seeds, and those will start to get nice and toasty. Then we got some whole coriander seeds, and then we're gonna add a bit of heat with some red chili flakes and a couple nice warming spices. We got some cinnamon right in, and we're gonna grate in some fresh nutmeg. There we go. Give this a nice stir and start toasting all those spices. If your pan's getting a little bit dry, now you can slowly adjust the oil. So instead of starting with a recipe that says add 1/4 cup of oil, you can control how much fat you need to add. Beautiful. Now let's add in some diced tomatoes right into this pan. And as that's sizzling, scrape up all the delicious bits from the bottom, because that's what contributes to the flavor of the sauce. This is starting to look really nice now. So I'm just gonna run over, you can't really have keema mutton without peas. So let me get some of those. So boom, these go straight into the pot. Let's make it feel a little bit more rich by adding some nice thick Greek yogurt. Oh yeah. Now at this point, let's cut our heat. Stir it all up. Nice, cutting the heat. Let's grab our bison, already ready to drain and ready to rock. Stick that in. Give it a nice stir. Give it a nice mix up. And now all this bison is just starting to absorb all the sauce. You can already see there's not much liquid left here, which will be perfect for our lettuce wraps. Here we go. And this is what I mean, interactive cuisine. You got loads of lettuce. We got our delicious raisin chili dipping sauce. And now let's dish up our keema mutton. Oh yeah, really high. Lots of different flavors, lots of different textures. Let's put some in. This is how you gotta do it. Oh yeah. Raisin chili dipping sauce. Squeeze in some lemon. Right into your gob. You're never ever gonna go back to eating keema mutton the same way again. There's really nothing more comforting on a rainy day than a delicious bowl of yellow dal. It's one of my all-time favorite dishes, and it's actually so incredibly healthy. It's comical. So let's get started. I already have in a pan some yellow lentils. You can soak them 2 ways. Overnight if you have lots of time, or 1 hour, 1.5 hours in some hot tap water, and that will speed along the process. And they're just boiling here in about 1 liter of water. I give them a quick check. They take about half an hour to 45 minutes. And you can see here that they're already split, and that's a good sign in that the water is getting a bit creamy. There we go. Now you're really starting to see that lentil-y texture. So So while that's going, I have a pan here on medium heat, and let's start the flavor base for it. So here we have some olive oil. There we go. And we're gonna pop some mustard seeds and then some curry leaves in. Getting going. Give it a nice jiggle. They don't take long to pop, especially if the pan is warm. Have your curry leaves on standby. Watch out. Mustard seeds pop in. Stand back, curry leaves in. There we go. Perfect. Now, let's give this a nice stir up. Let's get some onions in. So here I have 1 diced red onion. Then let's get some ginger. This is just some chopped ginger. Stir this up. Now turn the heat right down to like medium-low. Add a good pinch of salt, and the salt will help draw out all the juices from the onion and will stop them from browning. Give this a stir up. Okay. Now let's actually start the spice blend of our dish. So I have a spice grinder here. Fennel seeds, right in. A couple of bay leaves. Let's add some cinnamon, about 1/4 of a stick. Some black peppercorns. Some cumin seeds. A couple of cloves. And then some green cardamom pods. Now, when you're grinding cardamom pods, they come like this, whole. And inside there's these really delicious seeds, and that's what we want to grind. So I know it's a bit tedious, but it's totally worth the effort. Kind of crack these shells, and you can get out all this amazing black cardamom seeds. Let's see if I can show you this. Really cool. And you give it a smell, it smells like an Indian Christmas. So you probably only need maybe 3 or 4 pods, and it can be a bit difficult, so lean in with a spoon, crack the pod, and then get out all this cardamom flavor. Let's do 1 more. Lean in, pod's cracked. There we go. Awesome. Close this up, give it a couple of grinds. Just kind of pulse it a little bit and get it going. Spices are ground, lentils are finished, onions just need a little bit more love. So let's get our spices out. Oh yeah, smell this. Amazing, amazing. Sprinkle maybe half of it into our onion mixture. Let's add 2 more ingredients. Here I have some Kashmiri chili powder, so let's add a little bit of that. And let's also add in some paprika. Give this a nice stir. So let's get this lid off here. Lentils are looking awesome. Let's get them off. Let's do a little swap. Lentils go here, and all this delicious onion and spice mixture, curry leaves, all go into here. Nice. Let's turn this back on, bring it up to a boil. Oh, look at this. Stir this up. Oh, you get all those amazing spices and that onion mixture. That ginger really comes through. So let's get a bowl. Let's dump. Oh yeah. Our delicious soup right into our bowl. Let's garnish with a bit of cilantro. And let's serve it up with some lemon wedges. Gotta give this a whirl. Spoon. Make sure you get everything in a bite. Lentils, onion, some cilantro. Squeeze on some lemon. So comforting, so nutritious. You have to make my Kashmiri-inspired yellow lentil soup. My personal philosophy with regards to healthy eating is good wholesome ingredients and a little bit of know-how in the kitchen. Once you start to get some basic flavor profiles done, what herbs to add, what spices can I bring to the table, that's how you'll slowly start to incorporating some flavor. The scrambled egg really does punch you in the face. There's lots of green chili, some fresh cilantro, and then we also have this really cool underlying tone of mustard seeds and curry leaves, and that really brightens up the dish. Eating the bison lettuce wraps is such a messy experience, but it's so satisfying. You get crisp, cool lettuce. You want to have a nice spicy filling inside. You want to have a raisin chili dipping sauce that brings sweet, sour, salty, all together. The Kashmiri dal flavors are really unique. You have so many different spices that go into making such a cohesive dish that every bite is a bit different. Some bites you'll get the licoriciousness from the fennel. Another couple of bites you'll get a couple of crunches of mustard seeds. And that's what makes that dish so satisfying. Eating healthy does not have to mean sacrificing on flavor. If you just view food with a different lens and reincorporate some of the same things that you know and love, you can accomplish healthy eating and never, ever sacrifice flavor. Eating vegetarian usually gets such a bad rap for not being a satisfying meal. In a country where the majority of the population doesn't eat meat, there is plenty of inspiration to draw from. In fact, some of my all-time favorite dishes are vegetarian. My wife and I typically eat vegetarian, 2 to 3 times a week, and today I'll be making our favorites for you. My lentil and quinoa burger is a cinch to make. These patties have a nice meatiness to them with an Indian twist. The spicy peanut spread takes peanut butter to the next level with a double blast of lime and chaat masala. When aloo gobi is on the menu, I can't help but order seconds. Cauliflower and potato are the star of what should be everyone's favorite classical Indian dish. You'll love my twist on gajar halwa or carrot fudge. Think carrot cake meets Indian apple pie spices, meets pistachios, yum. These will easily replace the classic we've all been used to no matter what side of the pond you're from. No meat? No problem. I'll give you a glimpse of what meatless meals should be all about. Hearty, satisfying, and absolutely delicious. Who said a great burger had to be made out of meat? Forget the beef, forget the chicken, forget even the fish. Let's make a delicious vegetarian burger today with lentils and quinoa. It'll be incredibly satisfying and a perfect addition to your weekday burger menu. Let's get started. Let's turn on this pan on medium-ish heat. Let's get that on. And let's put in about 1.5 teaspoons of coconut oil. Here's 2 carrots, and because it's a weeknight, don't even bother peeling them. All I want you to do is take the tops and bottoms off really quick. Give them a good wash. These are already done. And let's get our food processor blade on. It's attached with a grater blade, which makes your life way easier on these weeknights. Now let's get a red onion, top and tail this, and we're also gonna grate this as well. Cut it in half. It's all good. Turn this on max. Get this off. That's what you want to hear, this nice sizzle. And you can already start to smell the coconut oil. Clean this out. Toss that. Nice. So this is gonna have to soften almost completely. It'll take a good 8 to 10 minutes. And while that's going, let's get some of our other nice, delicious flavors inside. So I got a head of garlic. Just lean right on it. I'm in a garlicky kind of mood today, so let's put 4, 5 cloves of garlic. Why not? I'm just gonna slice this garlic up. So now once your garlic is chopped, let's get some ginger inside. And this garlic and ginger is really gonna form the underlying flavor of this amazing patty. Let's give it a nice grate. Knock that down. So let's take this. And now let's stick it in. So this carrots and onion mixture is about halfway through. At this point, we're gonna add some salt, and the salt will start to draw out some of the moisture in the onions and carrots. Now let's also season it at this point with some of our delicious Indian spices. I'm gonna add one of my favorite ingredients, smoked paprika. So let's add some of this inside. Now we're gonna add some chili flakes for some heat. Add as much or as little as you like. I like them with a bit of a kick. And then we're just gonna add in your favorite blend of garam masala. So you can use any blend you like. Mine has black peppercorns, cloves, green cardamom, a bit of cinnamon, and some nutmeg. There we are. Now let's give this a really nice mix up. Nice. Now to kind of awaken this dish up, we're gonna add some fresh parsley and a hint of lime. I'm just gonna finely chop this. So let's add in this parsley. And then let's finish with half of this lime. Give it a nice stir up. So let's just get this right into the food processor. Clean it all out. Awesome. Put it down. Let's get some quinoa. So this is already cooked quinoa, and it's just chilled in the fridge overnight. So let's put that in. Then let's get some lentils in. So these are just some brown, already cooked lentils. So it's gonna be approximately about a cup or so of quinoa and about 2 or 3/4 of a cup of lentils. So now you wanna pulse it until it comes together, and probably about 10 times maximum. And let's get ready to form some patties. And if it's a bit wet, you can always add some flour. Now, we want to make a hefty sized burger patty. So let's get one patty in. Push it away from you so you don't get splattered. Pick this one up. And while this is going, it'll take about 2-3 minutes aside. I'll flip them over. And in the meantime, let me show you how to make my delicious spiced peanut spread. Start with 1 cup of crunchy peanut butter. Next, add 1 teaspoon of chaat masala. Add the juice of 1 lime. Stir to combine. Garnish with some chopped peanuts, and peanut butter has never seen it so good before. My spiced peanut spread is an absolute cinch to make. These are looking great. Now this other side is getting quite crusty, which is beautiful. So let's look at these buns. Oh yeah, beautifully toasted. Nice. Let's get our peanut spread on. Get a generous amount. Oh yeah, look at that. And who would have thought that you put peanut butter on a burger? So there we go. Now let's get one of our patties out. Slide that right on. Amazing. Let's get a couple slices of paneer. Some of our lettuce. Top it up. Let's get these right on our platter. And I'll assemble the others. Beautiful. Don't you just want to shove these in your mouth? Delicious lentil quinoa patties. This is going to be the newest addition to your weeknight burger night. When you think of classical, vegetarian, East Indian cuisine, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? It might be palak paneer, it might be malai kofta, or in my case, it's going to be aloo gobi, a delicious curry made of cauliflower and potatoes. Turn our burner on to medium-high heat. I'm going to use some mustard oil for a base flavor and has a relatively high smoking point. So it'll be perfect for popping our mustard seeds. And while that oil is getting hot, let's peel some fresh ginger. And to peel it, you use the spoon. You can just peel back all these around the knobby bits. There we go. Tidy this up. So I'm just going to slice this in half and then cut it on an angle so it looks nice. Let's lean in and cut some garlic. So lean on this head. Take about 3 cloves of garlic. So all you do, smash the garlic with the back of your knife. That's done. So here I have some yellow mustard seeds, and we're just going to pop this in our mustard oil. And we're also going to add in some cumin seeds. And this will start the base flavor of our delicious aloo gobi. You can already start to smell the mustard and cumin, and it takes about 30 seconds or so for all these spices to really start popping. So while that's happening, let's get our tomatoes prepped up. Take them off our vine. Quarter or roughly chop these tomatoes. Seeds, everything in. So you can hear that these mustard seeds are starting to pop. So next we're going to add some red chili flakes. This is when you kind of want to act quickly. Red chili flakes go in. Then we're going to add some turmeric for that distinctive yellow color. Awesome. There we go, that's going. Now let's get our garlic and ginger in. Let's saute this. Look how bright this looks. Oh, this is already starting to smell amazing. Beautiful. Now let's get our tomatoes in. Now we're going to season this tomato component with a little bit of salt and some freshly cracked pepper. Nice. Let's give this a nice stir. Stick the lid on, wait 2 minutes. Let's draw some of the liquid from the tomatoes, and that will start to create a bit of the base. So you can see that the tomatoes have already started to break down and release a lot of their liquid. Now let's add in our potatoes. That looks good. Give this a nice stir up. Make sure to coat all these potatoes. Oh yeah. Cover this up and let's wait for another 2 to 3 minutes, and the tomatoes will continue to break down and the potatoes will slowly start to cook. So now that the potatoes have been cooking for a couple of minutes, let's take a quick peek inside and look at all this beautiful juice that you have coming out. So now we have enough juice in here, let's actually add some cauliflower in. So let's add in some cauliflower, probably work out to be a couple of cups. There we go. Nice. Give this a really nice stir. There we go. Now these will all start to cook down. Now let's season this with some salt on top. Now be really generous because root vegetables need salt, and brassicas in general, cauliflowers and all that stuff. Let's put the lid on. Now no matter how hard this might be, resist the urge to lift this lid. And the reason is you need to make sure that the tomatoes continue to cook up, that the steam starts to build inside, and that you can fully cook the potatoes and cauliflower. It's been about 20 minutes, and let's take a look at our aloo gobi. Lift this lid off. Oh man, look at this. You know, this is such a great dish because this is not the type of vegetarian dish that you're like, where's the meat? This is the type of vegetarian dish that is super hearty on its own. So I'm just gonna garnish this with some peas. These were just frozen peas that have been thawed out. And we're just gonna garnish with some cilantro leaves, just right on top here. Aloo gobi. If this is not the most comforting Indian dish, I don't know what is. Sharing dessert sucks, which is why we're gonna make cupcakes today. But not just any kind of cupcake. We're gonna cross carrot cupcakes that you all know and love with carrot halwa and take all those fantastic ingredients of pistachios and cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, and green cardamom and fuse both of those two amazing dishes together. And to talk about everything with me today and to do the recipe is my great friend and Canada's Spice Queen, Trusha Patel.
Hi, Aman.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, why don't we get started on the dry ingredients and then we'll get these cupcakes in the oven so we can eat them sooner.
Sure. We're going to start with 3/4 of a cup of whole wheat flour. Put that in first. Then there's 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. And then we have a teaspoon of baking soda and a pinch or 1/4 teaspoon of Himalayan sea salt. And now I'm going to put in my favorite ingredients, the spices.
Mine too.
So we have cinnamon here, and that's a 1/4 teaspoon, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, really warming spice, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, excellent digestives as well. And then I'm just going to just give that a quick whisk so that the spices start getting into the flour and infusing in there.
So now let's get on to the wet ingredients. So I'm just gonna grab this larger bowl here, move these off over to the side. And in this bowl, I have 3/4 of a cup of light brown sugar, then 1/3 of a cup of applesauce, and that's in here for some natural sweetness, and I think it adds some nice body. We have a 1/4 cup of oil.
And so, Aman, could you add a little bit more applesauce if somebody was vegan?
Definitely, yeah. You could probably replace all the brown sugar and add some more of that. Let's also crack 2 eggs in. There's 1, 2. Here's a 1.5 cups of carrots in. Let's get these out of the way, and let's mix all this up. Let's give this a really nice beat up. Watch out. Perfect, so that's completely beaten. So I'm just gonna add this dry ingredients into the wet. I'm just gonna grab a quick rubber spatula. I just added 1/3 of a cup of pistachios for some nice crunch.
Pistachios. Oh my
so
God.
good, hey?
They're my favorites.
So this looks like it's all fully incorporated here. So I'm just gonna
That looks great.
get rid of this. I'm gonna move this off to the side and let's line our baking pan.
Wow, can't wait to try these.
This is gonna be so good. I'm just gonna grab a tablespoon here.
These can be eaten any time of the year, right?
Yeah, there's always a perfect time for carrot cake.
Yeah, even breakfast.
Hey, this would be an awesome breakfast
Why
idea.
not? Yeah.
What other kind of spices do you think we could add inside of this?
I think maybe a little bit of ginger, fresh ginger or even ginger powder would be really great as well.
That'd be really good.
Yeah.
So here's the last one right here. Can't wait to get these baked. So Trusha, do you want to stick these in the oven?
Sure.
350 degrees, about 20 minutes, until the toothpick comes out clean.
Okay, super. Okay, they're in.
So here, Trusha, are cooled carrot cupcakes. They came out of the oven, toothpick came out clean, left them on a wire rack to cool, and now they're cool to the touch. And like, you could totally eat them like this, but honestly, the best part of carrot cake is the cream cheese frosting. So
how are you gonna make that?
So I'm gonna throw in about 8 ounces of softened cream cheese.
Okay. Is that full fat or light?
Full fat. Full
Just
fat.
checking.
Then we got half a cup of icing sugar.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna zest in a lemon. And then to bring in some of the carrot halwa flavors, we should add some green cardamom.
Oh, this is my favorite spice.
Yeah.
Did you know it's the queen of spices?
No, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
how appropriate.
Very, very good.
Okay, so I'm gonna add that in. So that was a 1/4 teaspoon, did you say?
Yeah, a 1/4 teaspoon of
Okay.
that. So I'm gonna start mixing this up. And you might have to get it started just on low, just to kind of get that cream cheese going.
Wow, I can really smell that.
Totally,
Yeah.
hey? Now it's a little bit thick, so I'm gonna add in a tiny bit of milk. So that's probably about 1/8 of a cup. Oh, there we go.
Wow.
Now on high, give it a nice whip. So now this is completely smooth and fluffy.
Okay.
Nice, so let's get rid of this. There we go. So why don't you frost these up?
Okay. I'm not a baker, so I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah? Go heavy on it.
Go heavy on it?
Go heavy, yeah.
Okay.
Go big or go home. So I'm just gonna garnish these, Trusha, with some chopped pistachios.
So with these spices in there, this would be a great way to get your kids involved and introduce them to some spices as well, especially if they're young, right?
Hey, why not? You know, like, I think it's never really too early to get into the kitchen, and if you can learn a thing or two along the way, along with some tasty eats.
Yeah.
Well, these are mine, so you'll have to bake another
What
batch.
happened to the sharing?
What?
Remember? Individual cupcakes so that you can have your own. You don't need a whole plate.
I just got called out, and there you got it, carrot halwa cupcakes. I have no idea why vegetarian meals get such a bad rap. Why can't you make an incredibly delicious meal with no meat? And I'm not talking about a vegetarian meal that's like, oh yeah, I'll order a steak salad and just remove the steak. I'm talking a vegetarian meal that the vegetables are the star. Lentil and quinoa burgers are really awesome. You can buy lentils in a can, and quinoa actually takes 10 minutes to make. And when you blend the entire works together, you get a really nice meaty patty that you usually associate with red meat. Aloo gobi's great. You get like these really delicious creamy potatoes, then you get a nice bite from the cauliflower. You get some nice hints of like mustard seeds in there. There's some really great chili action going on. It makes a really nice broth. Gajar halva, or basically carrot fudge, is all these awesome flavors of like pistachios, cardamom, cloves, cinnamon, basically like Indian apple pie spices. But the texture is a bit strange, especially if you've never really been exposed to like Indian sweets before. So I was like, why not marry carrot cake with all these amazing flavors? When you want to make awesome vegetarian food, go to the grocery store and be inspired by the mounds of fresh produce that you have there. You got green, you got yellow, different colors, textures, flavor patterns. Try something new, and I guarantee you'll be really happy with the results. One of my favorite things about traveling is, of course, the food. But in particular, the street food in Mumbai is, to me, the quintessential Indian experience. The 3 dishes I'm gonna share with you today barely scratch the surface, but I promise you they'll offer a sneak peek into one of the world's most incredible cities, right from the comfort of your own home. Bellpuri is the street-side snack of Mumbai. This savory chaat is filled with puffed rice and crisp vegetables. You'll never, ever eat chips and dip again. My recipe for a really buttery roll is a breakfast favorite inspired by the railway stations of Mumbai. These Indian-style mashed potatoes are every single thing that's right while eating curbside. Kebabs can be found pretty much everywhere, but Mumbai has the luxury of having some pretty incredible seafood. My chili shrimp kebabs are tangy, bright, and oh so spicy. Get ready for a flavor bomb as I take you on a culinary tour through the well-walked streets of Mumbai. quintessential Indian street side dish, in my opinion, is found mostly in the streets of Mumbai, all along Chowpatty Beach. You see the ocean on your left and herds of Bellpuri stalls. So let's actually make Bellpuri, one of my favorite things. So let's do some veg prep, let's get the boring stuff out of the way, and then onto some nice eating. And we're gonna finely dice this. So cut the ends off, give it a quick peel, get rid of this. Let's just go for the full thing. And if you've never done an onion like this before for finely diced, if you do a whole bunch of like horizontal lines and still kind of leave the back end intact, then you can do some horizontal lines like this. And now when you dice down, you get these beautiful cubes. And they're perfect like bite-sized one. So we'll do this one really quick. Onto the tomato. Stack them up. Now we're going to take all of this, dump it into a nice big bowl. I've already previously peeled, cubed, some potatoes in boiling salted water. And I'm just going to add in these, and these add some really nice textural element and some creaminess. Now let's move on to what makes Bellpuri Bellpuri. So this is puffed rice, and it's much different than the rice cereal you would normally buy in the grocery section. So all of this is going to go in. It's about 3 cups. Next we have these like chickpea noodles. So let's add all of these in. It's about a cup. Next we're going to add a really important crunchy element is peanuts. I love them and they really complement this dish really well. So let's put those in. It's about half a cup. Now this is kind of a seasoning blend from a class of Indian dishes called chats. And it's a mixture of lots of different things. So we're gonna put in, I don't know, about 2 tablespoons. Now to bring this entire dish together and to actually make it Bellpuri, let's add 2 different chutneys. One of them is a date tamarind chutney, basically an Indian equivalent of sweet and sour sauce. And you can buy that at your everyday grocery store. I'm not even gonna bother showing you how to make it. But the other one is a really, really simple green chutney. So let's do that. Add 3 to 4 cloves of garlic into a food processor. Add 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of chaat masala, some salt to taste, 1 tablespoon of honey, the juice of half a lemon, half a lime, add half a bunch of cilantro, and half a bunch of mint. Puree until your desired consistency. I like mine with a bit of texture. My green chutney has countless uses. Try it and you'll definitely agree. So how easy was that green chutney? So let's take about a generous cup and let's mix it into this whole bowl. Get that in. Next we have our date tamarind. This is just a store-bought one. Use your favorite brand. And you can already see that this is coming together. The smells are coming up. Oh, I'm feeling this right now. It's taking me right back. So let's hurry up and get the next ingredient in, and then we can eat. So this is a pomegranate. So I'm going to cut it in half. Done. So you can see it's quite beautiful inside, and there's all these little seeds inside here, and they all taste amazing. But getting rid of all this pith is obviously really difficult. So you can run it under cold water, you can do all that stuff, but it takes forever. So the easiest way that I find is to take the back of a metal spoon, put your hands open like this, and just give it a few whacks. And you can see that all these pomegranate seeds are coming out. And now, all we gotta do is mix it up. So I got a big spoon here. You wanna pull right from the bottom, all your stuff, turning the bowl as you go along. And now let's just dish this up. So I'm just gonna serve it up into these things, which are going to be really beautiful. So let's take some spoonfuls, and you will see quickly your family will devour this. Get rid of this. So I'm gonna serve these with papadis, which are little crackers. And this is how you would get it in India. And what you do is you lift them like this. Another one of my absolute favorite Mumbai street food dishes. You find them at every single railway station just before you're about to board the train. A nice kebab masala chai, 1, 2, 7, 11. The best breakfast item ever. Today we're gonna serve them as an appetizer. So let's get our pans going. So let's put a couple of good glugs of mustard oil in. So these are made from mustard seeds, pressed just like olive oil. And these are yellow mustard seeds. Really yummy. And you want to start when the oil is a bit cold, and you want to add about a teaspoonish or so. So once these are popped, what we're going to do is we're going to add in 3 more ingredients: garlic, ginger, and some fresh green chili. So this is ginger, and I kept it in the freezer, and it makes it significantly easier to grate. So there we got that. We've got 3 cloves of garlic. Let's take these out of their paper. Just push your weight down on them, and let's get them out of their papery husk. Smush down again. So while I'm doing this, let's keep an eye on our mustard seeds. Let's give them a nice little shake. So these will take a couple of minutes. So I'm just gonna slice this garlic while we're waiting. So we got that. So let's get all of our ingredients off to one side. Let's get this chili. This one's pretty large. So let's do half. I'm gonna keep the seeds in, of course. I'm just gonna finely slice this, get this off to the side. So now you can see that the mustard seeds are starting to get cracking. Let's give them a nice little shake. Beautiful. Now let's get our curry leaves all in, toss them in. You're gonna see those will start popping. We're starting to release the flavor. The room is smelling amazing. So let's get this garlic, fresh chili, right inside this hot pan. Give it a go. Give it a nice stir. Let's turn the heat down a little bit. And you're just waiting for the garlic to get a bit fragrant. And let's work a little bit quickly now. So let's grate some ginger inside. So let's grate some of this in. And see how nice it is when it's frozen? It's grating so nicely. There we go. Give this a nice mix up. Now let's season this with some salt, and let's get our potatoes in. So these are just regular russet old potatoes, boiled and peeled. And we're gonna toss them into our pan, and we're just going to lightly mash them. And let's give it a whirl. And by adding it to some of this hot fat, these potatoes will slowly start to absorb all these delicious flavors that we've already started adding to the pan. This is turmeric, another root vegetable very similar to ginger. We're gonna sprinkle some of that in. Nice. Put that back down. Let's keep mashing this up. So that's pretty good. Clear up our thing. And now this is when you want the potatoes to start to get kind of crispy and soft and kind of a best between like a roast potato and a mashed potato. Oh man, you can really start to smell like the mustard seeds, that beautiful garlic, that ginger. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt because root vegetables love seasoning, and salt in particular. So let's add a little bit more of this. Now while we're waiting for this, and before we get the peas in, the last ingredient, let's get our buns ready. So what I'm using are these like attached together dinner roll things. Very, very similar to what a pav bun would look like in India. So let's just do one and I'll show you how to assemble it. And let's cut it in half. Nice, beautiful surface area to spread with some butter. I got some butter right back here. So this is just some softened butter and give it a really good slathering. So a good amount of butter on both sides. And let's stick them into our pan and let's get some nice griddle marks on them. So let that go, the butter will melt, it'll soak into the bun. Oh man, this is gonna be delicious. And let's check and see how our potatoes are looking. So you can see that the potatoes are starting to get a little bit brown and they're still mashy. So these are looking pretty good. Let's get some peas in. So I'm gonna put in, it's around half a cup or so, maybe a little bit more of peas. And some of them you wanna like kind of mash up in there. And I'm gonna make mine a little bit different by adding in some beautiful coconut. It has really nice light bits of sweetness. It's gonna be really incredible. Sprinkle some coconut in. Let's mix this up. And let's make this pav. So let's do that. Take this out. Mint, lime, lemon, garlic. Really get a good amount on. Now let's take our pav filling. Steaming, oh yeah. Let it fall off the sides. Don't be bashful. There we go. Let's get the top. Let's also spread that with some chutney. Look at that. Wouldn't this be the best breakfast ever? Let's make the rest of them. Oh, who wants to wake up to coffee in the morning when you can wake up to these? So Renee, what do you like to eat when it's -40 outside?
I like to eat food that is hot,
Yeah,
or that will generate heat inside of me.
check. So here's the green chili, and we're gonna make chili shrimp kebabs, which is my take on a Mumbai street food dish called chili crab. So they're these whole crabs rubbed with lots and lots of chilies and garlic and ginger and some onion and lots of awesome things, but incredibly difficult to make, especially when it's -40 outside.
Right.
So let's make some chili shrimp skewers.
I love it.
Why don't you start with the marinade,
Okay.
and we'll get going. So I'll walk you through all the ingredients. First of all, let's get some herbs in, because every good dish needs some fresh herbs. So this is some cilantro. Toss it in. Yeah, give it a stir.
What? Toss it in?
Yeah, toss it in. Whole.
Like that?
Just like that.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding
What?
you. Yeah,
You're
go
gonna
for it.
smash this?
Yeah, we're gonna smash that.
Okay.
And then there's some fresh mint, or stems and everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's just washed.
I always wonder when you buy herbs, like, I love them, but they're so fussy, but you can use the stems?
Yeah, use it all. It has flavor,
Oh my
why
God,
waste
you've
it?
changed my life.
So how much of this chili do you want to add?
I would say half.
Half?
Yeah.
Can you leave the seeds in there?
Yeah, does that make it way hotter?
Yeah, the seeds are like where all the chili heat lives. So like the outside of it will be like pretty mild. So we'll toss these jalapeno in. Now let's add some spices to it, because
Lovely.
we've got to add in some Indian flavor, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna add some cloves. I think cloves and shrimp taste really well together.
I never would have guessed that.
So they're really good, yes. Mostly used for like apple pies and stuff. We're gonna add some more dried
Just
chilies.
in case
Just in
it's not hot
case.
enough.
We're gonna add some turmeric, not only for color, but for a little bit of flavor as well. We're gonna add some ground coriander seeds, which is the seed of cilantro.
Oh, like the baby and the mama are in there
you go.
together.
And then we're gonna add some cumin seeds for some nice smokiness.
Okay.
Cool. Now, do you wanna get this garlic in?
Yeah.
Just take it out of the papers.
Okay.
Grate some ginger in. A little bit of lemon zest.
Okay.
A little bit of lime zest. And then chop them in half and only put the juice of half of each.
Whoa.
Totally
All right.
doable?
Yes.
Okay, and then once you're done all that and giving it a good bash, we'll add some of the oils in and I'll chop up all these veg that we're gonna make our skewers with.
Okay, awesome.
Sound good? Cool. Oh yeah, look at that. Looks
Is that
amazing.
enough, do
Yeah,
you think?
that looks great.
Okay.
That looks really, really good. So let's cut these in half.
Okay.
There we go. Now actually, before we do that, let's give this, before we juice these into here, let's add a good bit of salt.
Okay.
Now lactose is a bit of an abrasive to get you going. Okay. So 3-4 good pinches. Like vegetables love salt, shrimp loves salt, I love salt. And give it a really good bash. Let's get your aggressions out.
Okay. All right. Yes. Okay, that's, yes, I see. It's like bouncing back a little bit.
That's okay.
It's fighting back.
It's not fighting.
Oh, no.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh yeah. See, look how nice it's really coming together.
It's beautiful. It smells so good, Aman. This is, I've never smelled something so nice.
So now you see that you've already started to kind of get it going. So now let's add some oil.
Okay.
So I've got some canola oil here, just some unflavored oil. You could use olive oil if you wanted though.
Could you use grapeseed oil?
Yeah, exactly, like another neutral oil very similar to that.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna add a little bit of toasted sesame seed oil.
Oh, delicious.
So delicious, right? And it's mostly for some nuttiness.
Is this okay? This thing here?
This is looking excellent.
Okay.
Now I think it's time to add in some of our citrus.
Okay.
So an easy trick is stick a fork in it and then twist the fork around the citrus. Look how much juice comes out.
That's amazing.
It's genius. Oh.
I feel like I should have learned this coming right out of the gates, you know?
Yeah, it's a good one. Now we're gonna do a really quick marinade. 10, maybe 15 minutes in the fridge. If you wanted to marinate this overnight, like if you were in a real hurry the next day and you wanted to be a nice weeknight meal, I would save the citrus until just before you grill them because the citrus will start cooking the seafood.
Oh.
And like chicken or really anything. So not the best unless you want to make it really tender, with these shrimp do not need.
Okay.
So let's give that a nice mix up and let's see where we're at.
Okay.
Now let's take all that beautiful marinade you just did and let's dump it. So here's some nice shrimp. They've already been cleaned and their tails have been removed because it makes it way easier to eat.
And you did that?
Yeah, I just did them previously.
Okay.
Ready to do it?
Yep. Good.
So I'm gonna lift this bad boy.
Oh, you're strong.
Okay, and then you take the spoon
Okay.
and let's clean it all up into here. Oh yeah, look at that.
Perfect.
Cool.
Okay, good.
Beautiful. Now give that a nice mix up. So there's all your flavors in like one thing, and this marinade would last forever in the fridge, easily 2-3 weeks.
Really?
And you can put it on anything.
Wow. Okay.
Okay?
I'm
So I'm gonna
in
cover
love
this with
with
some
this
plastic
marinade.
wrap and we'll get into the fridge.
Okay.
And then we'll grill it up. Beautiful. Okay, so here's some wood and bamboo skewers. I soak these in water for about an hour in advance, and that'll make sure that they don't burn.
Whoa.
Pretty cool, hey?
Tricks of the trade.
Yeah, so how about you start skewering these, and while you're doing that, I'm gonna stick this half lime that we have, and I'm gonna stick it on while this pan is going. And the reason for that is at the very end, we're gonna have charred lime to squeeze over the top of our skewers. So these are coming along nicely. So just before we get ready to finish up, why don't you grab the serving platter and our little crunchy garnish for the top.
So what's in this garnish?
So I crushed up some salted peanuts and just toast them with a little bit of coconut and some black peppercorns. And I thought it would add a really nice like texture and some nice flavor to the top of them. So we'll take this one off, we'll lay it on. Look how beautiful these look. So there we go. There we go.
Great.
Okay, so now let's just cut this heat and let's juice these beautiful charred citruses.
Yummy.
Oh God. There you go, right? Sprinkle on some of this stuff.
Okay.
And now we're rocking.
There we go.
How amazing does this look?
So
Don't you just
good.
want to dive right in?
Yes.
Well, let's have our guests come over and let's serve these up.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you so much, Renee. Chili shrimp skewers. Mornings in Mumbai are incredibly hectic. You have people wanting to get to the trains, people trying to go on the streets. It's absolutely chaotic. So India is really cool that you have all these railway stations that have snacky type things or breakfast type foods. The reason why maybe Bellri is the quintessential Indian dish is because it's so texturally pleasing. We got pomegranate seeds, we have potatoes, we have the same chutneys, all the puffed rice and those sev noodles, just too delicious. The experience of eating a pav is like none other. You get a really buttery roll, you get a nice bright green chutney, And then you get this really creamy mashed potatoes with these like hints of green peas. How can you go wrong? The kebab experience is really cool. You get nice charred shrimp loaded with that chili flavor, but then you also have all those crunchy vegetables. So even though the flavor profiles are the same, the textures are different, and that's really cool. When you think of large cities, you always think about what's going on the streets. And street food, and in particular street food of Mumbai, really does show that street food transcends every socio and economic barrier. And that is what really makes Mumbai street food incredibly magical. The food that Indians brought to the UK market is vast and varied, and is now quite literally its own cuisine. My parents emigrated to the UK from East Africa before settling in Canada, and many of my family members still call London home. For me, London is my second home, and today I'll show you the best of British Indian cuisine. My tikka masala produces wonderfully juicy chicken every time, and the sauce evokes all sorts of comfort. Funny or not, the shepherd's pie of my childhood was always doctored up with Indian spices. This English comfort food becomes something really special with garam masala, toasted coconut, and bright green chutney. Nothing is better than fresh baked bread, and in my opinion, few breads are better than a warm and chewy naan. When cultures come together, one of the best outcomes is the food. Let me show you with my take on British Indian cuisine. When the British colonized India, they brought back with them a boatload of spices, condiments, and what really has now become British Indian cuisine. And one of the most famous dishes to ever come out of that entire thing is chicken tikka masala. First of all, we gotta marinate our chicken. So we're gonna start with the marinade, bowl in the middle, and some plain yogurt. And the yogurt will help break down the chicken and tenderize it, which is great. Then we're gonna put in some salt. Just kind of eyeball it. Then we gotta put in some chili powder. There we go. Then let's grate in some garlic and ginger. Like that. Put that on the side. Lean in here and crack some cloves of garlic. Let's do 3, 4, 5 of them. I'm gonna save this garlic because we're gonna use it to put in our sauce. And then all we need to do is just grate it in. Now let's give this a mix up. Now let's get some spices into this. Let's add some cumin seeds, some ground coriander seeds, some turmeric, and some red chili flakes. Now let's finish mixing this up. So let's set this off to the side, move this stuff over, and let's get ready to start pounding our chicken. So I have a board here, a separate board that I've lined with some plastic wrap, and I'm gonna put 2 chicken breasts right on it. I'm gonna lay another piece of plastic wrap right on the top. And I'm gonna grab a rolling pin, and you're gonna evenly pound. Do this one. There we go, so that's pretty even. And then what we're gonna do is take the chicken off this plastic wrap. Try to keep it as one piece and straight into the marinade. Now this is when you want to get dirty. Let's get your hands in. Start mixing it around. Take this other piece of chicken and get right in there. All right, let's clean up our hands. We'll just wash these off. Now we're gonna stick this in the fridge to marinate, preferably overnight, but if you're in a real crunch, 4 to 6 hours. Here's some chicken that I marinated last night. I'm just gonna grab a baking tray, a pair of tongs, Now what you want to do is you want to take this chicken out and lay it on top of this baking tray like this. So straighten this out. I'm going to stick this into a 425-degree oven until it's blistered and browned and almost cooked, about 90% of the way. Should take anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes. So now let's get started on our amazing chicken tikka sauce. So I have a large pan here. Let's get this burner on. And you want it on about medium-ish heat. And I'm going to put in some ghee. I'm going to add in a little splash of just regular canola oil, something neutral. So while that is heating up, let's get some ginger grated. I'm just going to pre-grate some. So you want a decent amount of ginger. And you can see that because my ginger has been frozen, it's kind of peeling itself, which makes it really simple. Easy to grate, like right now, and easy to clean up. Never have to peel it. This off to the side. So let's remove it from the paper. And again, just put your body weight down and it'll peel itself. Look how easy that is. I'm just gonna slice this garlic while our ghee is getting hot. Now you can also chop it, whatever's simplest for you. And that's going to be the second infusion of flavor we're going to add into our tikka sauce. First of all, start blooming some of our spices, and that will incorporate the first layer of flavor into the ghee. So I got some cumin seeds, about 2 teaspoons, and I'm actually going to add in 1 teaspoon of whole coriander seeds. Let's give this a nice stir. It only takes about 10 or 15 seconds to get them going. Now let's get our garlic and ginger in. Smells just so good. Now let's move on to some tomato paste. And it's important to add tomato paste at the very beginning of cooking so you can kind of cook out some of the rawness from it. So let's give it a good mix up. While that's in there, I'm going to add some sugar for a bit of sweetness. Tomato paste has a tendency to be a little bit sour and tart, so that kind of helps that. And the sugar will go in there and that will slowly start to caramelize. Let's throw in some salt. Now let's add in some pureed tomatoes. Let's put this here. Turn the heat down a smidge. Let's stick the lid on and let it cook for 15 minutes. So now we're gonna add in some garam masala. So let's mix this up. So here I have some cashew butter. We're gonna add it in here. And what we wanna do is we wanna make sure that this cashew butter has been fully incorporated in. That's good. Now let's add in some coconut milk. So that's gonna go inside. And then obviously, because it's chicken tikka sauce and I just alluded to it, we need some heavy cream. So let's add in some of these. I've got a good teaspoon in right there, and let's add another half. So we got 1.5 teaspoons of fenugreek leaves. So here's some cilantro. Okay, so let's give this a quick mix up. I'm gonna add a little bit more red chili flakes for a last little bit of kick. Awesome. Now let's add in our chicken. So all this beautiful chicken goes in. We're gonna bring the sauce up to temperature, and the chicken will finish inside this delicious sauce. Serve it up, might as well go really classic. Copper pots. Oh, creamy, silky, incredibly decadent. Oh, I cannot wait to get my naan into this. Look at that. Beautiful chunks of chicken, delicious sauce. Oh, garnish with some cilantro on top. That's it. That is the best of British Indian cuisine. Andrew, let's get on a plane to London.
Okay.
You in?
Yeah, I'm totally in.
All right.
Yeah.
What are the first things you think of when you think of amazing British pub fare?
I think of fish and chips.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
You really can't beat it. Like those corner chippies.
Yeah,
those
yeah,
are
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
What about bangers and mash?
Bangers and mash is a classic, but I think the one I'm gonna go for is shepherd's pie.
Oh, shepherd's pie. That's a good one. Why don't we make shepherd's pie, but with an Indian twist?
Okay, you had me at shepherd's pie. Indian twist made it better. I'm in.
You're in?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get ready to rock. First of all, I'm gonna get this skillet on. It's a pretty large one, on really high heat. Okay, I'm gonna get a smaller pan on, also on really high heat, because I want to get some butter in the pan.
Okay.
So we can get it melted.
Okay.
And also grab some milk. While this is heating, I'm gonna get you to pick some herbs.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is some sage. So pick all these off the stem, use everything. And then this is some rosemary. And how you pick this is you just pull back on the stalk.
Oh, wow.
Genius, eh?
Holy,
feeling it?
Yeah.
So maybe for the rosemary, I'd probably just use those two because it can quickly overpower a dish.
Okay.
And then I use all that sage. Might as well, right?
Yeah.
So in our hot pan, I'm gonna add in some olive oil. There we go, you want a decent amount. And I'm just gonna start sauteing up some onion. So this is just diced. I'm using red onion because it's a bit sweeter. And then some celery. So I'm gonna season this with some salt.
Yeah.
And the salt will slowly start to help draw out some of the moisture.
Okay.
In these veg. I'm gonna add in some garam masala, a teaspoon and a half. Around there. Let's give this a nice mix up. Andrew, why don't you chop up those herbs?
Okay.
I'm gonna give this a stir, and let me check on your milk. So you can see it's coming to a boil here. Butter's almost melted. So let's make a swap.
A swap?
Swap.
Okay.
I'm gonna take those herbs and you take this.
Okay.
Now what I want you to do is I want you to grate in some nutmeg
Some nutmeg.
into this hot milk. Keep going. You want about a quarter teaspoon. Which is
enough?
cool. That's enough, yeah.
Okay.
Good job. Looks excellent.
Yeah.
Now, Andrew, what I want you to do is add some green chutney into this milk and butter mixture. There you are. Add the entire thing in. So it's a combination of like mint, cilantro, jalapeno, some garlic, lemon juice, lime juice. Let's also season it with a bit of salt. Okay, Andrew, that's looking really nice and mixed.
Okay.
So why don't we add this mixture into our boiled potatoes. They've just been peeled, and we're gonna add some cauliflower into it.
Oh.
And this will bring in another little layer of a flavor and another Indian twist to it. And mashed cauliflower is really delicious. So let's just add it all in.
Okay.
I think you can handle it, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now you're talking. Smells amazing, no?
Yeah.
I'm gonna add these herbs into this.
So I'm taking this here.
Yep. Get your potato masher.
We got a potato masher.
Yeah, and give it the gusto.
Okay.
You kind of want like a bit of a rustic mash, so you want to get right in there.
Yeah.
Boom. I'm gonna get some garlic in this pan. 1 clove of garlic in.
Oh, wow.
And keep going.
Oh, wow.
How many garlic cloves you want?
As many as you think should go in there? 4.
4?
Is that too many?
No, hey. There's no such thing as too much garlic in my world. Okay, now how can we make this any better?
I think we need a little bit of meat in there, right?
Actually, why don't you pass it to me? It's over on your side. This is looking amazing.
Yeah, what's this?
This is some ground lamb.
Oh.
So get it in this pan, and you really want to get it browned up. So you can see now like this lamb has been browned pretty nicely.
Yeah.
So why don't you toss me those tomatoes?
Okay.
Let's get those right in here. So these are just some chopped tomatoes. Juice and everything.
Ooh.
Right in. Let's get some stock. So let's get some chicken stock in. Now you don't want all of it,
Okay.
so why don't you add half of that?
Okay, so it's 2 cups. I'm going to 1 cup.
Yeah, add 1 cup. And let's see where we're at. Maybe it's a bit under?
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. If we need to add some more liquid, we can. So Andrew, we've had this cooking for what? 10, 12 minutes?
Yeah.
Let's get this off. Now let's get a big baking dish. This is something we're gonna just serve right into it.
Okay.
Let's grab this pan. Dump it right in. Now I want you to add all of this mash mixture
Okay.
onto the top of this. Why don't I hold this?
Yeah.
And you scrape down.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's already smelling incredible. Now that you add this mash on.
Yeah, with the spices, right?
Yeah.
I can't wait for the kick again.
And then when you think about it, it's like you've got a whole bunch of different layers of flavor. Like they're seasoned completely differently.
Yeah, they are.
And they're gonna work so well together. Yeah, so like just let's get everything in. Potatoes in here. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of toasted coconut on top.
Toasted coconut?
Yeah,
Where'd this come from?
just a little bit of extra crunch. There we go. And it's gonna toast a little bit more in the oven. That's probably good, hey? Let's toss it inside the oven.
Okay.
400 degrees.
Okay.
10 minutes.
Aman, this looks amazing. I can't believe we made this.
We did this together. It was so simple.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Let's go tuck in to some Indian-inspired shepherd's pie. Walking into a house where the entire place is filled with the aroma of freshly baked bread can never be beat. And in my opinion, one of the best breads to bake is naan bread. But naan bread, you say, how do I make that at home? Well, normally it's made in a tandoori oven and it's slap it inside. Nobody's got that at home. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna make skillet naan. So simple to make. Let's get started on the dough. Here we have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Here we have 1 1/4 cups of thick Greek yogurt. And this is gonna add some suppleness to the dough. I'm a big fan of the Greek yogurt. 1 1/2 tablespoons of canola oil. It's gonna go inside. 1/2 teaspoon of sugar for some sweetness. 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. And another 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then 1 large egg. That goes in. So let's get this in. Turn it on low to start, and everything will slowly start to come together. Then as that initial part starts incorporating, then turn up the mixer to medium. And this takes about 2 minutes or so, and everything will pull away from the sides of the bowl and will be really soft to touch. This looks great. Take this out. Yeah, really nice. So now what we're gonna do is stick it into a lightly greased bowl. I'm just using some olive oil, but any neutral oil is good. Brush it inside, and then push our dough around in it. There we go. And let's cover this up. Now, you gotta make sure that this is actually touching the ball of dough, or you'll form this like really disgusting skin on top of it. Now let this rest at room temperature for about 4 hours. And I have a skillet on, medium-high heat. You want it to be pretty hot because you want to try and replicate what would be a tandoori oven. So let's pull this out and let's divide this dough up. So let's divide it in half, and then let's divide it into quarters. And then let's do that quarter into half again. So let's just keep them in our bowl. Now let's try and keep this pretty classic, and let's do the pretty traditional teardrop shape. So let's push it down on our board, and then you start pulling it straight. Okay, so that's ready to go. So let's take this out, put it into our skillet. You can already hear it start to sizzle. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover it, and that's gonna lock in some steam, and that steam will help cook the naan thoroughly. So on the first side, take about 3 to 4 minutes, then we're gonna flip it over. It'll take another 1 to 2 minutes. Let's check on the very last naan. Oh yeah, look at this. Amazing. Oh, look at all this herb butter on here. Get it all in there, don't waste anything. Let's get this side buttered up. Skillet naan slathered with herb and garlic butter to dip into your chicken tikka masala. I'm not even waiting. Digging right in. Oh. 3 examples of British Raj cuisine are warm and chewy naan, super comforting tikka masala, and stick to your ribs shepherd's pie. When you take a bite of chicken tikka masala, you get a rich gravy, you get nuttiness from that coconut milk, and you get that charred tandoori flavor from the chicken. The flavors of Indian shepherd's pie are bright and bold. I kind of liken to my shepherd's pie experience as having samosa filling with mashed potatoes on top. When you take your first bite of the naan, you get that crispy bottom, and then you get like that herb and garlic butter. Oh, I'm telling you, you'll never go back to store-bought naan. British Raj has literally taken over the UK to the point where now it's a national cuisine, and it's really special to have the cuisine of India showcased at such a high level. No matter how old you get, or how accomplished you may be, or may not be, nothing beats mom's cooking. I remember being 3 or 4 years old, sitting on the counter, watching my mom roll freshly made chapatis. Still, to this day, the smell of fresh rotis takes me way, way back. My mom is a really incredible cook, and I'm honored to share some of what I grew up eating. Chicken biryani is mom's classic cooking at its best. This tender, juicy chicken swims in a spicy sauce that's sure to satisfy. My mom's Indian-inspired chicken meatball soup takes this comfort classic to the next level with flavor-packed meatballs and a broth that will cure any ailment you have. I'm not saying my mom's cure is bad. It isn't. But rice pudding for me should have texture. So my plate of my mom's delicious dish uses arborio rice, typically used for risotto. My mom is a major reason why I do what I do. I was fortunate to have food at the center of my upbringing, and I hope that these dishes can be a part of your family's traditions for years to come. Sometimes there's nothing better than going over to your parents' house and having your own mother cook for you. And I'm incredibly fortunate to have my mom here. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Aman.
I'm so honored that you're here on the show and you're going to show everybody how to make a dish that I grew up eating since I was this big, chicken biryani. So, Mom, we got a pot on, on medium heat.
Yes.
How much canola oil do you want to add?
About a couple of tablespoons of oil.
Okay. Eyeball it.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Nice.
About 4 cardamoms.
Okay, green cardamom pods?
Yeah.
Why are you adding them in whole?
Because you want to fuse it in that oil.
Oh, okay. Nice. So you got green cardamom and you got a cinnamon stick in here.
Yeah. Just
Nice.
Now we are going to add some onions.
Okay.
1 medium onion chopped
Okay.
or diced.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. You can smell all the...
Yeah, you can smell everything.
Yeah.
So this is the first step of making biryani.
Yeah. Make sure you don't want to burn the onions.
Okay.
Just slightly brown.
Slightly brown.
Slightly.
Okay.
And this has to be cooled.
Okay.
Otherwise, the yogurt will separate.
Okay.
So you cannot add to it till.
Okay. So how about I take this to golden brown?
Okay.
I'll cool it for you.
Okay.
And why don't you show everybody how to make the marinade?
Okay, that's lovely.
Perfect.
Yeah, make
Thanks.
sure you don't burn that.
I won't.
Okay. In a dish, I'm going to take my yogurt,
Okay.
1 cup. When you add the yogurt,
Here, I'll
you
take
want-
this.
you want to make sure that you whisk it really well so the yogurt does not separate when you are cooking the yogurt with the chicken.
Oh,
So you whisk the yogurt.
This is just some crushed tomatoes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
crushed
take
tomatoes.
this.
About 3 tablespoons. 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. Mix it really well.
There we go. So then we got some garlic and ginger paste.
Ginger and garlic, yes.
okay.
2 tablespoons of ginger. 1 teaspoon of garlic. Make sure you keep on mixing it. We're going to add some lemon zest and some lemon juice. 1.5 teaspoons of lemon zest and about 1 teaspoon of lemon juice.
Nice. So it's about the zest of a lemon, eh?
Yeah,
Let's add what? Saffron?
saffron. Aman, as you add the saffron in,
Yeah.
always crush the saffron
Crush it?
because it gives it a really nice flavor.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you don't want it to be in big strands.
Yeah.
And we are going to add some turmeric to
How
it.
much turmeric?
Uh,
That much?
just a little more. Great, that's lovely. And now we are going to add some salt to it.
Okay.
So I would use about 1.5 teaspoons.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay,
So this is looking great.
yeah. Now
It
we
smells
are,
awesome.
Yeah,
And it looks like it's going to penetrate into this bone-in chicken thighs
bone-in
really well.
chicken, yes.
And we've just cut them in half.
We've cut them in half.
Perfect.
We do not want to add any water from the chicken.
Okay, so let's
Okay.
lift it out nicely then.
So you're going to add your chicken. So once you have marinated the chicken,
Oh yeah, look at that. Looks awesome.
yeah, you're going to leave that in the fridge for about 5 hours.
Okay. So Mom, you got that marinated chicken?
Yes,
It looks
you
awesome.
can see, yeah.
Yep, perfect.
So what we're going to do is,
So these onions and everything are cooled.
they are cool.
Okay,
yes,
so then do you
cool
want me to
down.
turn this pot on?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, what's
Okay.
step number 1 then?
Then now we are going to add the chicken
Okay, right into here.
right into that.
Okay. Okay, all of it?
Yeah, all of it.
Okay. Oh yeah, you can really smell that saffron and everything, hey Mom?
Yeah,
That's good?
yeah.
Okay. So do you need this
I need the spatula for
Okay.
a minute
Okay.
to mix it together.
Yeah. Mix everything up.
Now let's switch it on.
Switch on the burner.
Yeah, switch on the
Okay,
burner.
what temperature you want?
On full right now.
Once this comes to a boil,
Yeah,
we're gonna put it on medium, cover it up,
cover it up.
15-20 minutes.
15-20 minutes.
It's been about 20 minutes, Mom. Ho ho, look at this. This smells amazing, Mom. Just like home.
Yeah.
So now what do we add?
So we are going to add the spices to it.
Okay, what spices are we gonna put in?
We're going to put in some chili powder, which
Yeah.
is spicy.
Yeah.
So just sprinkle
Okay.
all over.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Some garam masala,
Yeah.
about 1.5. Now stir it on.
Okay.
See the color?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now
do.
we are going to add our fried onions to it.
Mm-hmm.
I will crush it as I add it
Okay.
so that it goes into the
Everywhere.
sauce.
So we
yeah.
get a double blast of onion.
Yes. Yeah.
This sauce is looking really nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Beautiful.
now we are going to be adding our potatoes that are fried.
Okay.
You have some chili powder on it
Yeah.
and garam masala on it.
And garam masala.
Okay?
We're gonna
Now
add
you
this in.
Add this in,
Okay.
all of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay?
Give this a mix up.
Yeah. Hun, cover it up for just 2 minutes so
Yeah.
the potatoes can become nice and hot so we can have some lunch.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
So what you're going to do is
I'm gonna take the chicken out. I'm gonna put it right here in the middle, and then we'll dump our sauce on top. What do you think?
yes, that is. Don't forget to add your potatoes to it too.
I'll put all the chicken in, and then we'll add some potatoes
Okay.
and stuff. There we go. Now we're starting to get some potatoes. And Grandma would be proud of this.
It's her recipe.
Oh,
she
it's her
taught
recipe.
it to me.
And then now
And
you're
I
teaching.
am
Now you
teaching
said
it to
me.
you, yes.
And now we're gonna teach it to everybody else.
That's right.
Look at that. Okay,
what?
now we can't waste all the sauce.
No, you want to put the sauce?
Right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at that. Perfect. Now just one final garnish. We got these sliced green chilies.
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you put those on?
Okay.
Perfect.
Now, if you don't want it too spicy, you make sure that you take those seeds out.
Well,
Because-
I love the spice, so let's keep,
Yeah.
we kept the seeds
So-
in. Oh, you're making it look really pretty, Mom.
There we
Nice.
go. Okay.
Okay, so let's stick that there.
Okay.
And there you have it. From my mom's house, and now to your house. My mother's chicken biryani. Thanks so much, Mom.
You're most welcome. Enjoy.
I'm sure everybody will. There is nothing much more comforting than your mom making you chicken soup. Made from scratch, cured every single ailment. I remember coming home after school, hockey cards got stolen, broken heart, got the cold. This chicken soup literally cured it all. And this is my version of it with some really delicious spicy chicken meatballs and a broth packed with herbs, spices, fiery kick from ginger. Cannot be beat. Let's get started. In a bowl, I have some sausage. So I've removed the casing and put the sausage in a bowl. Let's season it with some salt. One fresh diced green chili. Some garlic cloves that have been chopped and some finely grated ginger. Some cilantro. 1 egg. A little splash of milk. And here I have some panko breadcrumbs. I'm gonna add about half, so this is 1 full cup in here. Let's add half a cup and let's see what the moisture content of our meatballs are like, and then get right in there. Mix everything around. Scrunch the meat between your fingers. So now you can see our mixture is quite a bit wet. So let's add a bit more panko. Let's just finish the rest of it. So 1 full cup of panko. Was a pound of sausage. Yeah, nice. This is excellent. Now I'm going to use a teaspoon to form little meatballs. So measure out a spoon. And if the meatball starts getting stuck to your hand, then you can just brush with a bit of oil. Actually, speaking of oil, I have a baking sheet right here. Let's put some olive oil inside the bottom and just smear it around, just so our meatballs don't get stuck. There we go. So teaspoon-sized meatballs. We'll bake them in the oven at 375 degrees. Take about 15 or so minutes. I have a large pot heating on the stove over medium heat. Let's add in some olive oil. There we go. Let's get some black peppercorns into the bottom of a mortar and pestle. Some star anise. And star anise is kind of like fennel, it has a licoricey note to it, but a lot of other nuances, and it's used a lot in Asian cuisine. And let's give this a nice crack. Done. Still has a lot of texture. Into your pot. Let's get that toasting. You can hear that sizzling away. Now we're gonna activate this black pepper. Activation. Turmeric. Cure-all for everything. Get that going. And now you can really smell that turmeric and black pepper. Some sliced onion. Nice. So we have sliced onion, some diced carrots, and some sliced celery. Give this a nice stir. Look at the bright yellow color you have here from the turmeric. I have about 6 cloves of just lightly smashed garlic. And let's grate in a good amount of ginger. And this is what's really going to cure any ailment you have. Right over the pot. Frozen ginger makes the job so much easier. There we are. Stir. Let's season with some salt. So we want all these vegetables and the spices to kind of start to sweat down and release some of their liquid. Take 2 to 3 minutes. I have 3 liters of delicious chicken stock. There you go. Nice. Give it a good stir. These vegetables will get nice and soft. And now let's add in some herbs. Here I have some fenugreek leaves. I have some curry leaves, which add a nice floral note. And I have some mint. Give this a nice stir. Now let's bring this broth up to a simmer. As soon as it comes up to the boil, we'll throw in a cup of small pasta noodles. So now our soup's come to a boil. Let's add in some pasta noodles. Shouldn't take long to cook, 5 minutes. Let's go check our meatballs. Nice. Look at these sexy things. Golden brown. Oh. One for you, one for me. So let's take a bowl, big bowl, and let's throw in some meatballs. And what we'll do is then pour our delicious broth all over the top. So there we go. Let's grab a ladle. Oh, this is going to be amazing. Look at that. Let's get some for myself. What makes it better? Cheese. Cheese makes everything better. So let's grate on some Parmesan, as much or as little as you like. Spoon. Let's give it a go. Yeah, such a unique flavor profiles, a complete, comforting throwback, just like Mom used to make. One of my favorite desserts that my mom makes is a really delicious rice pudding. The only problem is that it's so soupy and you don't need teeth to eat it. And I can't stand that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the same flavors my mom uses, but I'm gonna use arborio rice. And this is a short grain rice that Italians use to make risotto. And it makes incredibly creamy rice pudding, and you'll never, ever go back to the old stuff. Let's get started. I have a pan heating here over medium heat, and I'm gonna add some butter. So let's put this into our pan. So you want this butter to completely melt and start to get little bubbles on it. This is kind of what you want to see, starting to bubble a little bit, and all the milk solids are coming up to the top. Now this is the perfect time to add in our shredded coconut, sliced almonds. Now give this a really good stir and coat all those coconut and almonds in our butter. I can't wait. So while that's slowly starting to brown, I'm gonna add in our spices. Cinnamon, that's gonna go inside. Green cardamom. Our cloves. Last clove in. Now we're gonna grate in some nutmeg. There you go. Now let's give this a nice stir up. Delicious. This is the perfect moment now that it's all foaming over to add our arborio rice into our butter. And let's mix this up. Coat all the grains of rice. Now you want to keep toasting this rice for about a minute. But what you want to make sure is that the rice gets translucent. So you can see here how the exterior of the grain has become translucent. The inside is nice and opaque. Perfect time to add some milk. Now you need to go kind of slowly for the first couple. So let's add one. About a cup. Bubble away. Stir, stir, stir. Now this is a labor of love dish. And you can see already how it's becoming quite thick. If you look in the pan, you can see all the starches and everything sticking to it. This is going to be really delicious and creamy. Add a little bit more. And this is kind of what the process is for the first few times. You add milk, it absorbs the rice, sucks it back in. Add a little bit more, and then slowly, slowly, 4 or 5 times with some stirs. The rice will become creamy, delicious. Taste it a couple of times, and if as soon as you think it's ready to rock, done. So it's been about 10 to 12 minutes. Let's take a look at our rice pudding. Oh man, I've added probably about 1 liter, maybe just under 1.5 liters of milk. Let's give it a taste, just to make sure the rice is cooked, and then we can finish it off. The rice is soft, still has some bite to it. You can really get that coconutty flavor. So time to add some sugar. Here I got about 1/2 cup of sugar. Sprinkle that in. Let's add some salt. Now, let's finish it off with some vanilla. This is going to be amazing. One last ingredient, coconut milk. So let's finish it off. This is almost 2 cups of coconut milk. Give that a stir. So I've just turned the heat up and we want to start getting really bubbly, and it'll finish its final thickening process. Our rice pudding now has come up to its boil, and let's get some on. And I know it looks so runny, but it's not. You're gonna go right to the edge of the plate. Okay. Mango compote. Just hit it all over. Almond cookies, right on top. Do it from up high. Oh yeah. Done. Spoon. Make sure your bite gets everything. Dig in. Delicious coconut rice pudding with the flavors of kheer, delicious mango ginger compote, and really crunchy almond cookies on top. I remember cooking with my mom and just kind of falling in love with making food from scratch. This chicken biryani is going to be your go-to because there's some really nice shortcut techniques in comparison to a classic chicken biryani. The best thing about my mom's chicken soup is those really tender meatballs with that really delicious broth, and it cures everything. When you take a bite of this coconut kheer, you get the temperature contrast of the cold mango ginger compote and then that warm creamy kheer on the bottom. Good stuff. I think my mom's proud of me because I incorporate a lot of the things that we grew up on, and I express our culture through food. Having a house full of close family and friends usually involves good stories and great food. But who wants to slave away in the kitchen when your guests are having all the fun? Entertaining should not be stressful, and my crowd-pleasing party food, along with some smart tips, will not only save you time, but will allow you to be the life of your own party. My mouth-watering Indian-inspired chicken wings will become your new go-to recipe. They're spicy, crispy, and incredibly delicious. Frozen wings, beware. What's not to love about grilled meat on a stick? Bihari kebabs are the ultimate. Marinated beef and wonderful warming spices, grilled to perfection, and sure to be gobbled up within seconds. I've yet to meet someone who dislikes a samosa, but rarely do I find ones with unique fillings. My combination of nutty squash, tart apples, and smoky bacon fills a wonderfully crispy pastry and takes the samosa to a new level. Send out the invites because it's your turn to throw the next party. Chicken wings are your typical party food. Everyone loves them, but let me tell you, salt and pepper, barbecue, teriyaki, those are so yesterday. Today, let me show you how to make these really delicious and crispy Indian-inspired chicken wings. Let's get started. Inside this bowl, I have a kilo of split chicken wings, and we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of chopped rosemary. Then we're gonna add half a tablespoon of turmeric. Then I have a really interesting ingredient, black cardamom. We're gonna add a teaspoon of that that's been ground. Then I have a tablespoon of red chili flakes, a tablespoon of kosher salt, and 2 tablespoons of honey, and this is gonna add some really nice sweetness. And as you're roasted inside the oven, it's gonna start caramelizing, it's gonna be just incredible. So now you gotta get in there. Clean hands. So there we go. So now I'm gonna wash my hands. We'll marinate these chicken wings inside the fridge for 4 to 6 hours. And if you wanted to make a double batch, then put half of the batch inside the freezer and you'll always have chicken wings ready for your next party. So now let's prep our 2 baking sheets. I got some oil here. And let's just brush on, relatively generously, some canola oil. Now this will ensure that nothing really sticks. And as the oil gets hot, it'll start sizzling and start crisping up these really delicious chicken wings. All right, take out the chicken wings. Now what you want to do is leave a bit of a gap between the wings. Cool. Now how are we gonna make them crispy? Because we're not deep frying these wings, as you see. We're gonna use my magic ingredient, rice flour. Now rice flour, as it gets hot, will actually start to crisp up the skin of the chicken, and it's gonna be an amazing trick that I know you guys will use sometime. I got this fine mesh strainer here, and let's just take a tablespoon or 2, and then kind of sprinkle it right over. Cool. Now, let's flip all the chicken wings. And we'll do the exact same to the other side. So let's pop these inside the oven, 40 minutes, 400 degrees, flipping halfway in the middle, so 20 minutes on one side, 20 minutes on the outside, and the skin will get all blistery and charred. The honey will start to caramelize. It's gonna be magic. Let's do it. Look at these. Delicious. I have a really nice platter, some chili dipping sauce. Can't go wrong with that. Every wing needs to be hot. And honestly, just pile these wings. Crispy, the honey's caramelized, the chicken skin has gone crispy. Get these all on here. This will be my portion right here. Now I'm gonna garnish with some limes. Nestle a couple in. How do these not scream party food? The most delicious, crispy, charred, Indian-inspired chicken wings you will ever eat. These Bihari kebabs are going to be your next party time favorite. I once discovered them on the streets of Calcutta, wrapped up in a really delicious kathi roll. But let's make these party perfect. Let's forego the kathi roll, stick them on some skewers, and your guests are going to be mesmerized. One of the most important parts of this marinade, though, is caramelizing some onions. So a better way to caramelize some onions than with some ghee. We're gonna get this into this preheated skillet. Let's get these out. So while this is heating, let's go over and slice up our onion. So take the top off, the bottom off. Now try and slice these as thin as possible. If you slice them too thick, they'll take a really long time to caramelize. And by keeping them kind of small, what you're able to do is you're able to speed up the caramelization process, and they'll also blend really smooth. You don't want to like bite into the marinade and have like chunks of onion. There we are. So let's get these into our pan. And you want to hear that sizzle to start. One of the greatest smells. Onions, butter. Now let's season with a bit of salt, not much. A couple pinches. So now this is the time you just gotta be patient. Set it on medium, walk away 15 minutes, come back maybe every 5 or 6 minutes and just give it a nice little stir and make sure that the onions are caramelizing nicely. You do not want to burn them. So if it takes you 30 minutes to do it, then so be it over a really low flame. Super, super important. Take a look at these onions. It's been about 15 minutes and the onions have broken down, beautifully caramelized, and this sweetness is gonna add a really nice backbone to the Bihari kebabs. So let's go over here and let's make the rest of the marinade. This is some ginger, just some peeled and sliced ginger, about an inch, inch and a half. And we have about 4 cloves of just chopped up garlic. It's also gonna go in. Then I have 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds, 2 teaspoons of coriander seeds, and this will add a nice lemoniness. Some heat, a teaspoon of chili. This is star anise ground up. We have half a teaspoon. And some nutmeg, another half a teaspoon. Let's pulse this inside the food processor. Now let's get in our caramelized onions. Let's get these right in. And let's give these another mix up. Scrape this. Okay. So now let's add the last couple of ingredients. Here's some tamarind paste. And tamarind is gonna act as a natural tenderizer for our beef while everything is marinating. And then let's add in 1 cup of plain natural yogurt. Let's give this a quick mix. Looks beautiful. Let's take this out. Get rid of this blade. You can see that it's really nice and smooth. Gonna be awesome. Gonna be awesome because we're gonna marinate it on some really nice and tender beef tenderloin. So take the marinade. Now this beef tenderloin, I've actually cut into 2-inch by 1-inch sticks so we can get a couple of pieces per skewer. Try not to waste any of this. There we go. I'll just mix this up. Once this is fully mixed, let's cover it with some plastic wrap, toss it in the fridge, 4 or 6 hours, way better overnight, and then we'll grill it up. Look how good these look. They've been marinating overnight. These are gonna be incredible. Here's some bamboo skewers, and I've been soaking them for about 30 minutes in some warm water. And let's just skewer these through. Let's put, you want a kind of even space. Leave a bit of a gap. Let's put two 2 to 3 probably per. There we go. Let's get tidied up, and then we start grilling. Here I have a grill pan, already kind of preheated over medium-high heat. And you can obviously use the outdoor grill as well. Let's brush this with a bit of canola oil. You want to hear that sizzle. So there we go. Now let's salt and lay in your pan. Now let's try not to overcrowd the pan. So I got 5 skewers in here, and I'm gonna cook them. I prefer my meat like medium rare, so I'm gonna cook them about 3 minutes aside. So these are done, so let's plate them up right away. Let's grill the rest up. These are really good. Look at this. Oh, let's do the really classic garnish. Some chopped white onion all over the top. These big chunks of onion are really nice. So as you're actually eating the kebab, you take a nice little bite of onion. Awesome. And some chopped cilantro. These are gonna be amazing. The ultimate party food. You got them on a stick, really tender beef, sourness from the tamarind, those delicious sweet spices and nutmeg and star anise. But let me tell you what's gonna make it. It's gonna be this diced white onion. Take a bite. Party to Calcutta, Bellri Kebabs. It isn't a party until bacon's come. So today we're gonna make my favorite, a bacon, apple, and butternut squash samosa with a couple of Cheeto techniques to make it super, super simple. So here we have 4 strips of bacon, and we're gonna slice it up quick. And then slice down. Let's get it into a pan. Kind of already set over to low. And let's render this fat and make it nice and crispy. Give it a nice stir. Let's dice up an apple. There we go. And then here, let me show you. To make a nice dice, pick your width you want, and then just cut down. Easy. Now let's take 4 cups of diced butternut squash straight into the pan. Our 1 apple. Smells amazing. So let's let this soften up. Takes about 5 to 6 minutes. All the juices from the apple will start coming out, start deglazing the bottom of this pan, so keep scraping, and then we'll add in our really yummy spices. Season with a bit of salt. Here I have some ground ginger, whole cumin seeds, some chaat masala, classic ingredient for most samosas, some red chili flakes, Give this a nice mix up. Oh. All right, let's chop up some garlic. And let's just give this a thin slice. If your mixture is kind of like mine's acting right now, a little bit dry on the bottom of the pan, no problem. We'll add in a 1/4 cup of water and just kind of help coax it along. So let's give that garlic a nice mix up, and let's get a 1/4 cup of water. Pick up all those nice juices on the bottom. Let's let this sit on low, 15-60 minutes until your butternut squash is fully cooked, and then we'll be able to assemble our samosas. Look how these have been cooking down. So to make sure that our butternut squash is done, just smush it up against the side, you can see. So done. Let's add the last couple of ingredients. We need a bit of sweetness, so we're gonna add some brown sugar. Crumble that in. It's the juice of half a lemon. Oh, this is gonna be so good. Now, just to make sure there's not a lot of hidden moisture in here, I'm gonna sprinkle in some cornstarch, and that's gonna help bind everything up. All right, now let's add a bit of greenery. So we've got some chopped parsley. Let's cut the heat. So now it's really, really important to allow this mixture to cool completely. If you were to put this hot mixture into the samosa pastry, it would be a massive disaster. So here's our really delicious filling. It's been cooling. Cheater trick number 1, our amazing samosa tool. Put it down. Cheater trick number 2, store-bought pie pastry. All butter, good quality. Unroll it. Stick it on our little tool. Now just give it a nice push down. You don't want to go all the way through, but you want to apply some pressure evenly. Okay, take a tablespoon and let's fill. Now you don't need to go too crazy because obviously this is chunky, so kind of pile it in the middle. There we go. Try to get a bit of everything, a bit of that apple, definitely the butternut squash. And by having this dry mixture, it's nice because it's not runny. It doesn't want to do anything it's not supposed to do. Another piece. Start pressing down. Now take a rolling pin. Cut right through. Save your scraps, it can just be re-rolled. Flip it upside down. Knock them out. And there we go. In my pot, I have 2 liters of canola oil heated to 350 degrees, and we're gonna slowly drop these in. Always remember to drop away from you. It was less than a minute to fry. Drain them on some paper towel. Last one. Oh, crispy pastry, amazing filling inside. Got a platter. Here I just have some plain yogurt that I've whisked in some turmeric and some red chili. All you gotta do is just lay your samosas down. These delicious apple, bacon, butternut squash, cheater samosas are gonna be a hit at parties of yours for years to come. So go ahead, make them. They're that easy. Perfect party food is like 2 or 3 bite food. So you can really pack a punch, but it doesn't need to be a full sit-down meal. And now you can do a whole bunch of items in smaller quantities. And then you get a vast array of stuff without putting tons of effort in. The wings are really awesome. They're spicy, you got red chili flakes, you get like the honey totally comes through, you get some smokiness from the black cardamom, you get the freshness of the rosemary. It's really, honestly, the perfect wing in my opinion. The Bihari kebabs are really cool because it's marinated with yogurt, tamarind paste, and caramelized onions. Like those are the 3 big flavors. And then you get 2 amazing spice ingredients. You have star anise and you have nutmeg. So they're really warming and add a nice like licorice undertone to the entire dish. I think it's honestly, it's magical. I really love those kebabs. It's time, I think, to take a great vehicle, samosas, and jazz up the middle. So you got tart apples, delicious butternut squash, and smoky bacon. And you put that inside pie pastry because it's a party, so you want to make it easy. And you use that incredible samosa template, and you got samosas in like 20 minutes. You can't beat it. If home is where the heart is, and food is where the heart is, then if you combine both of those things together, now you really got something magical. So hosting a party should be about all of those things. Great food, great friends, good conversations. Everything includes your heart. Spending time outdoors is one of life's simplest pleasures. Soaking up the sun, fresh air, and getting a bit of exercise is pretty much a perfect Sunday. My wife and I frequently round up a group of our friends, head out to the mountains for a hike, and enjoy a really delicious picnic lunch. Today, I'm going to share with you some of my picnic basket favorites. Potato salad is the quintessential picnic food, but often it isn't as delicious as your 10-year-old self remembers. To fix that, I'm roasting sweet potatoes, cauliflower, and fennel, and tossing it all together with a really delicious raisin dressing. Potato salad has reached a new level of sophistication. My tandoori chicken drumsticks will bring some classic Indian fare to the picnic blanket. I've made the bright and bold flavors of tandoori chicken so simple for you to do at home. And of course, no picnic, or any meal for that matter, is complete without something sweet. My masala chai chocolate brownies are honestly out of this world. I can't even begin to describe to you how amazing these are. So dust off that picnic basket because there's no better time than the present to eat al fresco. A picnic without potato salad is crazy. I'm gonna show you an incredible roasted sweet potato salad that's gonna change your picnic days. Inside a mortar and pestle, I'm gonna lightly crush some toasted fennel, a teaspoon. Give it a good crunch. There we go. Put that right in. Perfect. Okay, so I got 4 cloves of chopped garlic. Go in our bowl. Then I got a head of cauliflower. I'm only going to use a little bit, and I've cut it into little florets, about 1 inch in size, so they'll roast really nicely. Then I have a sweet potato. This is also a large one, so I'm going to use probably 2/3 of it, cut into 1-inch dice. And then I have 1 bulb of fennel. I've just removed the core and sliced it thinly. You can eat it raw. It's really refreshing, but we're gonna roast it today. That's gonna be awesome. I'll use all of it. Now I'll put in some olive oil. Just enough to coat. You don't want to like swim in olive oil. Some salt. I'm using kosher salt. I'll be relatively generous with this. Vegetables love salt. And some fresh cracked black pepper. Let's set this aside. I have a parchment-lined baking sheet. Just use my hands to mix this up. This smells great. I'm a big cauliflower fan. Look how colorful this is. A couple of different shades of white, bright orange. Now let's spread this evenly on the roasting tray. There we go. Perfect. Nice even layer. Let's roast this inside an oven
375 degrees, 15 or 20 minutes. The fennel is going to break down, the sweet potato will become fully cooked, and the cauliflower will be beautiful and roasted and caramelized. And while this is roasting, I'm going to show you how to make a really delicious and easy spiced raisin dressing. In a saucepan, heat 1/4 cup vinegar and 2 tablespoons of maple syrup until boiling. Add half a teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, and let steep for 1 minute. Off the heat, whisk 2 teaspoons of yellow mustard powder and 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Add 1 cup of raisins to plump up. This spiced raisin dressing is going to elevate your everyday potato salad. Look at this, 20 minutes later. How delicious does these look? Cauliflower is like nice and charred. Oh, this is gonna be awesome. Now let's dump it into a big mixing bowl. So here we got our spiced raisin dressing. Now the key is to making a really delicious potato salad is you need everything warm. So we have our vegetables hot, we have our dressing hot, and the reason is that you want all the vegetables to soak up the dressing. And if this was cold, it would just sit on the top, and that's boring. You need the pores of the vegetables to be open. Give it a nice mix. There we go. I have some toasted sliced almonds. Let's put half of them in, and the rest we'll use for garnish. So we'll add some really nice crunch. There we go. Let's plate this bad boy up. Grab our picnic plate, dump it on. Now this salad is delicious, warm as it is, but obviously, because we're going on a picnic, it's delicious room temperature. Spilling some all over the place. There we go. Oh baby. This is so solid. Roasted cauliflower, I'm not lying. If you've never tried it, absolutely delicious. My roasted cauliflower and sweet potato salad with a spiced raisin dressing, perfect for your next picnic. Who does not love an oven roasted chicken at a picnic? I know I do. But you know, as delicious as an oven roasted chicken is, it can be really, really boring. Let's make an incredible tandoori style chicken drumstick that's going to knock your socks off. I'm going to show you how to make this really amazing marinade. We have 1 small red onion that I've finely diced into the bowl of a food processor. We got 4 green chilies, really important. Now to get that bright red color, instead of using food coloring, which is pretty classic, I've opted for beets. It's gonna add a nice little sweetness and a really bright, vibrant color. So they're just peeled, diced. It's 1 small beet. I have 4 cloves of garlic, about 2 inches of sliced and peeled ginger. Let's go right in. 1/4 cup of fresh lemon juice, and 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. Give this a nice mix. Scrape down the sides. Look at this beautiful color. All right, now onto the spices. I have a teaspoon of fresh coriander seeds, a teaspoon of cumin seeds, a teaspoon of ground green cardamom, a teaspoon of black peppercorns, half a tablespoon of red chili powder, and a tablespoon of turmeric. Blend this up. Give it a scrape. And then let's add in 1 cup of plain natural yogurt. Add it right in. One final blend. Beautiful. Look at how bright red this is. This is going to be awesome on our drumsticks. So now, let's get started on those. In the bowl, I got a pound of skin-on chicken drumsticks. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to slice all the way down to the bone, 3 slits. Now this will help the marinade just get right into the drumsticks. Cool. Awesome. Now let's put our marinade in. Dump it right in. Mix this up. Nice. Now let's wrap this in plastic wrap, put it in the fridge. Overnight is really important. Now we'll get in the oven. Here's one that's been marinated overnight. Let's get a baking sheet. It's lined with parchment. Let's take our drumsticks out. It's really important to let it marinate overnight. It gives the distinctive red color that tandoori chicken is famous for. So with the leftover marinade, let's grab a spoon and let's put a spoon right on the top. And it's gonna burn and char, and it's gonna get amazing. Let's pop these into a 400-degree oven. It's gonna take 30 to 35 minutes until they're like browned and crispy and incredibly delicious. Look at these suckers. Oh, been about 30 minutes, and you can see how like crispy it is, and if you feel the chicken inside is still really nice and tender. Let's plate these up. Another picnic plate. Oh yeah, and these like brown crispy bits are perfect. You get this really delicious color, and that heaping of marinade right on the top has just like browned nicely. It's garnished with some green onions. And then I love to serve tandoori chicken with some lemon wedges. Here we go. One for everybody. And there you got it, an excellent replacement to that oven roasted chicken that you guys are totally tired of. My oven roasted tandoori drumsticks. Nothing beats a decadent brownie, especially when you're sitting al fresco. But what's gonna make a brownie even better, to mix in with all that amazing chocolate, are masala chai spices. Let's get started on this incredible recipe. Here I have 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. We're gonna put them above a double boiler, and a double boiler is basically simmering water with a glass bowl on top, and it'll prevent the chocolate from scorching. Then we have 6 ounces of dark chocolate. Try to use 70% cocoa or higher. Then we have 1 pound of unsalted butter. Trust me, it's gonna be worth it. Let's get another bowl, and let's start mixing up some sugar. Here I have 2 1/4 cups of sugar. We got 6 eggs, so we'll just crack these in. Let's grab a whisk. Let's whisk this up. Eggs and sugar are whisked up. Now we're gonna add one of my secret ingredients. This is 3 tablespoons of instant coffee powder. And you're like, why are you adding instant coffee? Well, coffee and chocolate are really good together and they're good friends, but also coffee in small quantities like this actually brings out the chocolatey flavor, so make the dish seem more chocolatey. Then we got 2 tablespoons of pure vanilla extract. Whisk this up. All right, let's set this aside. Let's check our chocolate. There we go, give it a nice mix up. Beautiful. All right, on to the dry ingredients. We got 1 cup of flour. I'm just using all purpose. We have half a teaspoon of ground ginger, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of cracked black peppercorns. We have 1 tablespoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of fine salt. Let's give this a little whisk up. Let's double check our chocolate. Looks pretty good. Oh yeah, all melted. Now it's pretty important to let this chocolate cool, because if it was still really warm, if we were to mix it into the eggs, you would get scrambled eggs. Let's get another bowl. And these are for the stir-ins, because every good brownie has a couple of stir-ins. So we're gonna use shelled pistachios. These are unsalted. 1.5 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips again. Now here's a cool trick. Here's a 1/4 cup of flour that we're gonna sprinkle on the top here. Let's give it a stir. Now by coating the pistachios and the chocolate chips in this flour, it allows them to suspend inside the batter so they don't actually all sink to the bottom when you mix it up, which is really cool. There we go. So now it's time to combine. We have our egg mixture and our chocolate mixture that's been cooling. It's pretty good. So now, let's dump this chocolate mixture into the egg mixture. There we go. It smells amazing. Whisk this up. You can smell that hit of vanilla, the bitterness of that like 70% cocoa. This is gonna be so good. Definitely get those chai spices now coming through. There we go. So now let's switch from this whisk to the rubber spatula to make it way easier. And let's get our dry ingredients in. So one last mix up. Dump these in. Mix this up. Nice. So the order of which you actually combine the ingredients, you combine all the egg mixture, then you add the chocolate mixture, then you add the dry, is actually what I learned how to make a brownie. So I don't know the actual science behind it, because I'm not a pastry chef, but I can definitely make a mean brownie. All right, so that's fully incorporated. Now let's get our mix-ins in. Chocolate chips, pistachios, the last little bit of flour. Now let's give this a nice fold. So when you're folding something, spin the bowl and make like figure eights. So spin around the bowl, cut inside, come back around. Around the bowl, cut back in and around. There we go, right from the bottom. Look at that. Here I have a greased and floured 11 by 18 baking tray. So let's get these in. Look at that. Try and scrape every last bit off. All right.
Now let's get these into the oven, 350 degrees, 40 minutes, or until a toothpick in multiple spots comes out clean. The brownies have finished baking, they're completely cooled, and now's the moment of truth. I flip them upside down. Look at those. Here's some icing sugar that I've mixed up with some cinnamon and ginger. Sprinkle that right on the top. It's like it's snowing. Let's put a little love in it for good measure. Let's slice these up. You got gooey chocolate. Oh, this is gonna be so rich. Plate them up. Look at that. How amazing are these? These masala chai chocolate brownies are going to be a massive hit, whether or not you're throwing yourself a picnic. Oh yeah. So the perfect picnic food has really bright and bold flavors, a lot of citrus aspects, items that can be served room temperature, which is also a plus when you're having a picnic. The cool thing about the sweet potato and cauliflower salad is that it's really texturally appealing. So you get the creaminess from the sweet potato, the crunchiness from the roasted cauliflower, the melt in your mouth texture from the fennel, and then you get that amazing spiced raisin dressing. It's really, really delicious. The cool thing about eating tandoori chicken with all those charred bits is that you get a taste sensation with every single bite. You have lemon juice, you have sweetness from beets, you have the hotness from the chilies, and then you have some really nice spices. All really, really perfect for marrying a dish that is actually quite complex in flavor profiles. Masala chai brownies are chocolate lover's paradise. As soon as you bite into a masala chai brownie, you instantly get the chocolate hit. Then you get crunchiness from pistachios. Then you get the underlying tones of masala chai spices. So you get black peppercorns, ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg. It's beautiful. Picnics kind of harken back to yesteryear, and it's kind of nice to take a step back, turn the phones off, and eat outside. I am a massive hockey fan. I've even been known to schedule my day around a game just to ensure I don't miss a second. And if it's playoff time, game over. If I'm out and about, I'll turn on the radio. Really, this is no joke. Pretty much every activity I do is centered around food, so why should game night be any different? I often have my buddies come over and I'll prepare an easy, hearty fare that requires as little last-minute attention as possible. My go-to coffee table snack is sweet and spicy nut mix. They are effortless, can be made well in advance, and are excellent for any occasion. I love mozzarella sticks. Honestly, what's not to love? Melty cheese, crispy coating, yep, pretty much the most delicious combination in the world. My paneer pakoras are my take on these game day staples with new flavor explosions in each bite. I love making huge batches of chili. It's hearty, delicious, and can literally take on any flavor profile you decide. Mine has loads of Indian flair and a few surprising ingredients that I'm sure will make their way into your own pot of chili. Just be sure not to skimp out on the toppings bar. So go on, grab your jersey, and get ready to eat and cheer your face off. On On game day, you always need something on the coffee table, and these spice nuts are my go-to coffee table snack. So easy, so delicious. I have a silicone baking mat here. Nothing ever sticks to them, but if you don't got one, use some parchment paper. I got 2 cups of almonds, 1 cup of cashews. These are all unsalted. And 1 cup of shelled pistachios. Spread them in a nice even layer. Let's pop them into a 375-degree oven for about 10 to 15 minutes until they're nice and golden brown. While those nuts are roasting, let's get together our delicious spice mix. So I got a small saucepan here, put it over medium heat, and let's get in 2 tablespoons of softened unsalted butter. So the butter is melting inside a pan. Let's add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Give it a good mix up. Nice. You want all the sugar to be fully incorporated with the butter. Break up all the lumps. And it's important to have equal parts sugar to butter so that they incorporate completely. There we go. Now let's add in all of our delicious spices. So I got half a teaspoon of paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne for a bit of heat, half a teaspoon of cumin seeds, half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, half a teaspoon of ground coriander seeds, and last, half a teaspoon of kosher salt. Bring this up to a boil, and you can already start to smell it. And look how easy that was. As soon as you smell all the spices coming together, that's it. The longest part is waiting for the nuts to roast. Oh, it smells so good. You would normally think that this dish has really weird ingredients in it. Like paprika and cayenne and salt kind of makes sense, but cinnamon, coriander, and cumin. But when you start thinking about it, it makes a lot of sense. Like, what are some of your favorite roasted nut flavors? Like cumin adds a lot of nice smokiness. Coriander has like a good lemony, citrusy vibe. And cinnamon just has really nice depth. And all of those things together make, in my mind, a really delicious spiced nuts. And when you smell them, they're done. So if you smell them, take them off. Now what's important is you get these hot nuts straight away into a big mixing bowl. While those nuts are hot, take our hot melty butter, dump it right on, and then give it a really nice mix up. Get everything mixed right from the bottom. Don't leave any nuts stranded. Now I like my nuts extra salty. So sprinkle in some extra salt. There we go. And then mix those through. Now you're supposed to allow them to cool, but who's got time for that? It's game night. 2 bowls. Divvy them up. There we go. I'm telling you, you won't be able to make these fast enough. So incredibly delicious, so flippin' easy. You cannot make enough of my spice nuts. So delicious, perfect coffee table snack. Eating them by the fistful. Oh yeah. Who does not love mozzarella sticks on game day? India has their own version with paneer pakoras, and I think they might even be more delicious. Let's get started on this really simple and easy batter. In a bowl, we're gonna combine some chickpea flour, it's 1 cup, some dried mango powder, it's also called amchuranala. Then here we have ajwan seeds, and they're quite pungent and can be a little bit bitter, but they'll add a really nice balance to the overall batter. Then I have garam masala, chili powder, turmeric. And I have some asafoetida, also called hing. You just need a pinch. Then let's add some salt. There we go. Then about a tablespoon or so of oil. I got some garlic and ginger. And then I got some grated onion that's been drained. That is about a 1/4 cup. I'm gonna grab a whisk. Let's give all of this a really nice mix up. Kind of distribute all of our ingredients. Now we'll add some water. We're gonna turn it into a nice thick batter. So I got 2 cups of water here. Let's add in about a 1/4. Give it a nice mix up. Now if you overshoot on the water, you can always add a little bit more chickpea flour. So now let's prep our paneer. Now this is paneer, kind of looks like tofu. You can buy it in the refrigerated section of your local grocery store, Indian store. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the paneer as if it were a mozzarella stick. So we're gonna cut the paneer in half, and then we're gonna cut it in half the other way. And then we're gonna cut it into thirds. So one there, one there, and let's do the same to the other side. So now all the paneer sticks have been cut, and now we're gonna season them. This is some chaat masala. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna slice the paneer with your knife, like that. There we go. And you're gonna sprinkle and rub it in. So now you kind of get the middle of the paneer stick, and then sprinkle a little bit around. There we are. Stick it on the plate. So again, cut a nice slit, don't go all the way through. Get your finger in, nice, and sprinkle some chaat masala and rub it right in. So I have a pot of hot canola oil. It's set for 375 degrees, and now you can see I'm doing it on the stove top. So you gotta be really careful. Nice big pan, only about 2.5 liters of oil. Have some baking soda nearby just in case. And I've already set up a plate with paper towels and a small spider to get everything out. So what we're gonna do is we already have all of our paneer sticks here, and I got the batter in my hand. I'll throw 4 sticks inside. We'll give them a nice coating and then fry away from you. So stick them in, drag the stick through, and then push it away. Always away from you. So that if the oil were to splatter, you're not gonna burn yourself. Drop it a 1/4 way through, hold it nicely, let it set, and then down. Now you don't wanna overcrowd your pan, so I'm only gonna put about 4 or 5 in this pan, but you can eyeball it based on the pan size that you have. Now I'm gonna keep these frying until they're nice and golden brown and really crispy. These are looking really delicious. Look how nice and golden brown these are getting. So we'll take them for a couple seconds longer. Here we go, batch number 1. There we go. Right onto some paper towel. While they're hot, sprinkle them with a little bit more chaat masala. And let's do up the others. Here comes our last batch right out of the fryer. Oh, don't you just want to get into these? Just turn the oil off. Remember, season with chaat masala. Oh man. Nice big platter. In the middle I have some date tamarind chutney, and we're gonna use that as the nice dipper. Get some of these on. So crispy and hot. Oh.
Garnish with a bit of cilantro all over. These look amazing. Paneer pakoras on game day. Give it up. 3 cheers for paneer. My favorite go-to menu item on game day is a huge batch of chili. It is so easy to prepare. This is going to be your next go-to chili recipe, and it is jam-packed full of delicious Indian flavors. I have a pot here set over medium heat, and we're gonna add in some mustard oil. About 1/3 of a cup. And here I got about 1 kilo of lean ground beef. And it's important to make sure that your oil is sizzling so you can get the beef to stick right at the bottom and scrape it off and get really delicious brown bits. And that's gonna add awesome flavor and texture to this chili. So this beef has to cook inside the pan for a good 10 minutes until it's really nice and golden brown. So in the meantime, let's get some of our vegetables ready. To peel ginger, you just take the back of a spoon and just pull straight down. Look how easy that is. You can get all the peel right off. The ginger is gonna add a really nice peppery note, underlined to the kind of like the base of the chili. And now about 5 or 6 cloves of garlic. Now here's a really cool technique to mince garlic. You have the peeled cloves, and you're gonna give them all a really quick chop, just so it's manageable. Then take some kosher salt, and then start chopping through. And the salt will act as an abrasive. And what you'll be able to do is actually create a paste. And then if you take the back of your knife and start smushing and chopping. There you go. Easy minced garlic. Let's take a look at our beef. Oh yeah, nice. Nicely browned. We're starting to get some sticky bits on the side forming from the caramelization of all that beef. So at this stage, let's add in all of our aromatics, onions, garlic, and ginger. Right in. So we gotta let these onions, garlic, and ginger kind of sweat out a good 5 to 6 minutes till they get nice, soft, and tender. To kind of help that process along, we'll add a little bit more salt. So now you can see that the onions, garlic, ginger have cooked down. The beef is really nice and browned. Here we got a teaspoon of toasted cumin seeds.
Then I got a teaspoon of toasted fennel seeds, and this will add a really nice licorice note. Here's my secret ingredient. 2 star anise stars ground up, and it really just enhances the entire flavor of the dish. This is 2 teaspoons of dry mustard. And 2 tablespoons of garam masala. Give this a really nice mix up. Once those are incorporated, let's add half a cup of brown sugar. We want that to break up and melt. And this will add the nice sweetness that you need in the dish. So there we go. Now let's add in some veg. I got a pound of quartered cremini mushrooms. And you can use button mushrooms, wild mushrooms, whatever you want. All those go in. Give these a nice mix up. So there we go. Now let's add in some sliced red bell pepper. Right in. And then one of my favorite vegetables, okra. So okra in. Let's give this one really nice stir. Let's let the veg, onions, all those delicious spices, let's let them hang out for 3 or 4 minutes until they start to release some of their juices, and then we'll get this chili working. It's been a couple minutes. Let's get our beans in. Chickpeas right in. Red kidney beans in. Let's give this one really nice stir. So here I have 48 ounces of diced tin tomatoes. So let's add the whole thing in. Let's give this a nice stir. Oh, there we go. So once the tomatoes are in, you gotta double check to make sure you have enough liquid in the pan. You wanna make sure that all the vegetables and everything are covered, so I'm gonna add a bit of water. Probably take about a cup or so, cup and a half. Okay, right down in there. Perfect. So now this is the hard part. Turn the pot to low, put the lid on, and walk away for 1 hour. I'm telling you, it's going to be totally worth it. Now I've removed the lid and allow it to kind of get to the consistency I'm looking for the past 15 or so minutes. So total cooking time, 1 hour and 15 minutes, totally worth it. Let's bowl it up. Oh, it smells amazing. You can get like that toasted fennel and star anise, cumin, it's all in there. And now, the most important part, taste test. The first thing that hits you is the star anise. And I'm gonna promise you, this will be the only chili recipe you make for years to come. Game days should be no different than having a regular dinner. But the best thing is that you can make everything days in advance. And actually, everything gets better with age. You could honestly make these spice nuts blindfolded. That's how simple they are. The nuts are great because they're sweet, spicy, salty, and savory. So you kind of get every flavor in one bite. And then your flavor profile will also then change based on what the nut flavor is, which is excellent. Paneer pakoras are India's version of mozzarella sticks. The only thing that they don't got is melty cheese, but they make up for that tenfold with loads of amazing flavors. So we had incredible chaat masala, an amazing dipping sauce, a spiced batter. They are so incredibly delicious, they can't be beat. Chili is great for game day because you can make a massive pot of it. It freezes really well, and it can feed a load of people for super cheap. The first spoonful of the chili is really delicious. The first notes that you get are fennel and star anise. And then you'll get some of the deeper flavor profiles, a bit of heat from the green chilies. And then you get that Indian kick of garam masala. Then you have brightness of lime that you've squeezed on the top. Pretty awesome. I prefer to have my friends over to my place to watch game day because I can make better food than a restaurant. It's significantly cheaper and way more fun. Ciao, Bella. I always say that if I wasn't an Indian, I'd be an Italian. I'm really fortunate to have worked in some pretty incredible Italian restaurants and have a deep love for the cuisine of Italy. My mentor, Angelo, who happens to be an Italian, has taught me more than I bet he even realizes. We often mash up an Indian dish that I've done with an Italian one he's done, and the results are always delicious. So this episode is for you, Ange. One of Angelo's restaurants is an amazing pizzeria. I've taken all of those principles he taught me and giving them my Bollywood twist. Naan, fusion pesto, and tandoori vegetables. Need I say more? Angelo's other restaurant has a reputation for heartwarming bowls of pasta. Today I'll do up some beautiful hand-cut pasta with a bolognese that will leave Italians and Indians wanting more. Both cultures love to finish a meal with a frozen dessert. Italy has gelato, India has kulfi. I've gotten sneaky with my kulfi meets gelato frozen treat. Adults and kids alike will be begging for thirds. Get ready for a new spin on two of North America's favorite cuisines. India meets Italy in all of its glory. If Italians know how to do anything, it's making amazing pizza. And if Indians know how to do anything, it's making amazing naan bread. Let's marry those two things together and let's make a naan pizza. You guys ready? Let's get started on prepping some asparagus. So this is how you gotta trim it. They have like a natural breaking point. So if you bend them, this is good. This you put in the bin. Just keep going. You can also save these asparagus stems, and they're excellent for putting in like stocks, or you can slice them up really thin, saute them in some butter and make a risotto. So these are done. Toss them into a bowl. Now let's slice our pepper up. I probably only need half of it. So there we go. Now you want to cut your veg pretty thin, so then it cooks 10 minutes or so it's going to take to actually make your pizza. All right, let's toss these inside the bowl. Zucchini, love it on pizza. I only need a bit. Let's use that much. Cut this into half moons. Perfect. These in. All right. Now let's toss these with some tandoori paste. This is just my favorite store-bought brand. A couple tablespoons, maybe a bit more. There we go. Let's give these a really nice toss. Now I'm not adding oil or water or anything like that to them. You want to have a really nice even coating of tandoori paste, but not like thinned out. So I'm gonna wash my hands, preheat the oven to 400 degrees, get it nice and hot. While I'm doing that, let me show you my favorite ingredient on these pizzas, a delicious Indian-inspired pesto.
In a food processor, combine 1 cup of cilantro, 1 cup of mint, a 1/4 cup of shelled pistachios, 2 garlic cloves, and a 1-inch piece of ginger. Pulse until coarsely chopped. Now add 1/3 cup of mustard oil, 1/3 cup of olive oil, 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. If necessary, scrape down the sides of the processor with a rubber spatula. Pulse until completely smooth. That's all there is to it, my Indian pesto. Now let's slather the naan with that delicious pesto. These are some store-bought naans. I got them in the freezer section of my local grocery store. Use those ones instead, they're much better. I'm just giving them a quick defrost. Let's spread a good tablespoon. So obviously we're using pesto in lieu of a tomato sauce. Sometimes it's nice to jazz it up in that way too. Don't neglect the corners. All right, now let's lay on some of our veg. So we got some bell pepper, sliced zucchini. Let's just grab a handful. There we go. This pesto is amazing. You got that cilantro, mint, pistachios instead of pine nuts. So good. All right. Now let's go into some artichoke hearts. So these I just got at my local grocery store as well. They come marinated. Just give them a quick rip. Beautiful. A couple of those. Nice. Let's grab our cheese. This is just some sliced bocconcini. Be generous. Beautiful. All right. So there we go. Let's get this into the oven. 400 degrees. 10 to 12 minutes until the naan is crispy and the cheese is nice and bubbly. Oh boy, look at these. You know what's gonna make these even better? A really quick yogurt drizzle. So simple to make. I got 1 lime. Slice it in half. So I have 1/3 of a cup of yogurt. I'm gonna stick a fork into the lime to juice it. Let's do half. I want it to be quite runny, so it can act as a drizzle. Let's see. Let's mix it up first and see how we're looking. Still a bit thick. Let's add the whole one. Nice. Okay. I'm gonna add some fenugreek leaves to these. I got fresh fenugreek leaves today. I'm just gonna give these a really quick chop. Perfect. Straight into our yogurt. Let's stir this up. There we go. And now you can see this runny. It's nice. So we can drizzle on. Perfect. So let's get a board. Done. Let's take our pizzas off. Oh yeah. Beautiful. Nice. I got some arugula here. Just garnish the top of that. Let's drizzle our yogurt on. Perfect. How amazing does this look? Italy meets India via the pizza, and they call it a nanza. You cannot think of Italian food without thinking of a beautiful bowl of pasta. And what better to toss with pasta than delicious bolognese sauce or meat sauce. And we're gonna jazz it up with loads of delicious Indian and Italian ingredients. I have a skillet here on medium, and we're gonna put in some mustard oil, 1/4 cup, a little bit more. We're gonna set it over medium-high heat, and I have 1 onion that I've diced. It's gonna go right in. I have about 1 inch of ginger that I've minced up, also straight in. And a couple cloves of garlic that have also been minced. There we go. Let's add in a pinch of kosher salt. There we are. Now let's chop up some other veg. I got a couple carrots, a couple stalks of celery, and 2 green chilies for the heat. So I'm not even gonna bother peeling these carrots. And let's just mince these up. Do that for these ones. Cool. So you can see that the onions have cooked down, translucent and soft. Now let's add our chopped carrots, celery, and green chili. Let's saute these up until the carrots and celery become nice and tender. And this will start developing the first layer of base flavor that you need to make an amazing Indian-inspired bolognese. So the onions and celery have cooked down. Now let's add 1 pound of ground beef. Let's break this down. Now let's really get this beef browned. So while this beef is browning, let's cut up some of our pasta. So in my local grocery store, I was able to find fresh lasagna noodles. Now this is an excellent cheat than making your own pasta, because this already is fresh pasta. So I got 2 stacks of pasta sheets, and we're gonna cut in tagliatelle, which is actually the width of my index finger. So we're gonna roll the pasta noodles up, just like so. Measure about a finger's width, and cut straight down. There you go. Perfect. Pepper it up. So let's put some of this on this plate. I'm just going to cover with a damp towel. So our beef is totally browned, and you can see that the edges are starting to get crispy. Let's add our spices. So I got 2 teaspoons of ground garam masala. And I got 1 teaspoon of chaat masala. Let's mix that up. Now let's get in our tomatoes. So I got 1 large tin of crushed tomatoes. Dump those right in. Give it a mixy. Now, if it seems a little bit thick like right now, you can add a small amount of water. So let's start with a 1/4 cup. Let's turn the heat to low. Let's get the last 2 herbs in. So I got a 1/4 cup of chopped flat leaf parsley, right in. And I got some basil. Now let's put this inside our sauce. Nice. Give it a really good stir up. So let's let our bolognese sauce simmer for 10 minutes. In the meantime, I'll cook my pasta. It takes 2 to 3 minutes, so make sure you time it properly, but follow your package's directions. Make sure it's a little bit al dente. Perfect. Nice chew. Spot on. Now let's take this pasta and put it straight into our bolognese. And start spinning this around. There we go. So now what you want to do is you want to dress the pasta in the sauce. And that last little bit of cooking time for the pasta is done inside here. All right. Let's take our bolognese. There we are. Nice heaping pile. Look at that. Let's rip some basil leaves right over the top. Nice, look at this. Grate some Parmesan cheese. You can never have too much. Just make it snow. And there you go, my Indian-inspired tagliatelle bolognese. Unbelievable. Every culture has a frozen dessert. North America has ice cream, Italy has gelato, and India has got kulfi. So let's make a delicious batch of pistachio kulfi. I'm gonna set this pan over medium heat. Now you gotta get a bit patient. We have 1 liter of whole milk, and we gotta reduce it by half. You gotta go low and slow. There's no skipping this step or anything. Keep your eye on it. Give it a stir. Make sure it does not come up to a boil or you'll scald the milk, and then you gotta restart all over again. Now, why reduce the milk? You gotta reduce the milk because you wanna have a really nice, creamy texture. There's no eggs, there's no heavy cream, there's no nothing. It's very, very simple, but you gotta take the time and have the patience to make a really delicious one. It's been about 30 minutes, and our milk is reduced by half. You can see it's nice and thick. So now let's add a few more ingredients. I have some sweetened condensed milk, 1 full tin, turn the heat up on the stove just to make sure everything gets dissolved. There we are. Let's add in a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, a teaspoon of ground green cardamom, and 4 tablespoons of chopped pistachios. Those will go right in. Give this a nice stir. All right, fully incorporated. Let's cut this heat. And let's dump right into this measuring jug. Might not make it all the way, it's okay. A couple. And I got these 3 really cool ramekins. Just dump them in here. Finish topping these up. Now our mixture is still really warm, so I'm going to set these aside, cool completely to room temperature, and then put them inside the freezer. I made some last night. Let me grab those for you. Look at these bad boys. Nice. Got a nice board here. Let's garnish with some chopped pistachios. Just right on top. And they'll slowly start to warm up, and that's when you want to dig in. Look at these. And there you go. India's response to Italy's gelato, pistachio kulfi.
Well, my very first restaurant job was in an Indian restaurant, but every time after that was all in Italian. And it started the love affair that I have with Italian food. And honestly, if I wasn't so passionate about Indian food, I would definitely be making Italian. The meeting of Angelo and I think in a lot of ways was quite serendipitous. The very first time we met, just kind of hit it off. And it's been a mentorship without knowing that there's that mentor-mentee relationship. It's like two good friends together. When you think about like really awesome pizzerias, it always goes down to the crust. So you get like sour components from the dough and it's charred on the bottom. And that sounds eerily similar to naan bread. So by using naan as the platform already makes sense. And then we're gonna add some really delicious flavors on it. I love this pizza. So bolognese sauce or meat sauce is traditional from Bologna. You got carrots, celery, onion to start the base. You brown off some meat, but then you add some green chilies, then we add some garam masala, and then we got our tomato component. We're gonna finish it off with some brightness of lime. This is the best fusion dish, honestly. So this Kofi dish is really near and dear to my heart. It's my grandma's recipe, and it's actually very similar to gelato. It's not made the same, and you know, we've done a quick cheater technique by adding some sweetened condensed milk to it, so it makes it really nice and creamy. We've reduced the milk down and added a bit of cardamom. I think it's a really good introduction to kind of making some fusion cuisine. I really did mean it when I said if I wasn't an Indian, I'd be an Italian. Both cuisines are heavily rooted in tradition, and their whole cultures are surrounded around food. And that's something that means a lot to me. With fussy tastes and short attention spans, children can be challenging to cook for at the best of times. These little cutie pies can drive you crazy when you're trying to please them. I know firsthand. My wife's family has loads of little kids, and we often babysit. Getting them to eat anything other than candy is a real feat. I'm going to make my kid-friendly mealtime staples that please even the pickiest eaters at the table. Creamy, cheesy, gooey goodness. All kids adore mac and cheese. I'll kick it up a notch with beginner Indian flavor. Mild and unique, this dish will keep kids and parents happy. It's soon to be your new weeknight go-to. Caesar salad is the perfect start to any meal. With crisp, bright flavors in every bite, kids will gobble it up. And every kid will be begging to shake up the dressing. The easiest way to get your kids to eat is to have them help out. Every kid loves milkshakes, and my mango lassi is no exception. Tart mango meets floral green cardamom in this super refreshing shake. Who knew getting fruit into your child's diet would be so fun and easy? Get those munchkins in the kitchen and cook up this delicious meal. I'm sure they'll become some of their favorites, and yours. Kids love mac and cheese, so let's make a mac and cheese that not only your kids will adore, but so will you. Let's get started. In a pan here, I had set over medium heat. I have some butter, and we're gonna thicken this mac and cheese with something called a roux, and it's a chefy term for basically thickening a cream sauce or a milk sauce. So let's get some butter in our pan. In a pot here, I have some milk, and that's heating up, and it's gonna allow the hot milk to go into the hot roux, which will allow fewer lumps. Another way to do it would be to have like temperature, so a cold roux and cold milk to kind of avoid lumps, but who's got all that time to cool things down? So now you see our butter's melted. We're gonna add in some flour, sprinkle that in, and let me grab a whisk actually, it'll make it way easier. Mix this together. So this is equal parts butter and flour, which is important to making a roux. I got about half a cup of butter and flour inside of this. So what you want to do is you want to fully incorporate the butter and flour together and have it kind of cook out that raw taste of flour. And this takes about a minute. So let's mix that up. Now I'm gonna add some Indian flair. So this is garam masala, a really delicious Indian spice blend of turmeric, black pepper, green cardamom, cloves, and it's a great introduction to adding in some delicious Indian flavor. Not much, maybe about a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half. You don't want to overwhelm them, and it's not spicy. It'll be really perfect. Mix this out.
So now this is ready to rock, so now let's slowly add in our milk. And you want to do step by step. So a little bit of milk, whisk, get it going. You can see these lumps that are kind of forming in here. So now add a little bit more milk, and we'll whisk those out. You can really start to smell like the nutmeg right away in the garam masala, really delicious. Keep going. And what's cool is like in an Italian restaurant, when you're making a cream sauce, you would add nutmeg anyway, so it's kind of already hidden in. So by adding this garam masala, you're adding some flavors that work really, really well with dairy. So let me add some fresh black pepper. There we go. Now I'm gonna hold off on the salt for a reason, is that we're gonna add some cheese. And the cheese is obviously salty. So if I were to add this and make it perfectly seasoned, I'm gonna add cheese, and it's gonna ruin kind of our salt balance. So let's go with that. Let's get some cheese in. So I got 2 kinds of cheese. I got regular cheddar, and I got some Gruyere. And maybe you're like, really fancy cheese for a kid's meal, but Gruyere is really nutty. And nutty cheese is nice because it adds depth to the sauce instead of just cheddar or even like mozzarella, which is great. So let's sprinkle some of this in. Whisk that up. And because our mixture is already hot, the cheese literally melts instantly, and it's grated so thin. And we'll add our yellow cheddar. Probably about 3 cups of yellow cheddar, and we got 1 cup of Gruyere. And if you were gonna add some mozzarella, I'd probably do 2 cups of cheddar, 1 cup of Gruyere, 1 cup of mozzarella. So I'm gonna get rid of that whisk, and let's get some basil in. Now, I'm gonna show you how to do a chiffonade of basil. How you do it is you take all the larger leaves you have and stack them inside each other, like this. They go on the bottom, and then you take all the smaller leaves and stack those in the middle. So roll really tightly. Nice, okay? And then take your knife and really thinly cut your basil. And there you go. Nice, thin strands of basil called a chiffonade. Now, since some of these are pretty small, this is like kind of baby basil. Let's throw in some whole basil leaves and some of our chiffonaded basil. So, let's give this a really nice stir. You can already smell it as soon as you put it in. Now, let's add in a little bit more salt, just to adjust some seasoning. Perfect. Now I have 1 pound of cooked macaroni. You can use any pasta you want. Cavatappi, penne, rigatoni, whatever your kids love, do, but obviously the classic for mac and cheese is macaroni. So let's add all of this in. There we go. Now let's give it a really good mix up. Look at this. Oh. Oh man. Now let's bring it up to temperature. Now we'll just adjust final seasoning. So let's grab a spoon and make sure it's hitting all the right notes. Creamy and delicious, just like amazing mac and cheese. The little hits of garam masala in there. It's just really nice. Throw that basil's really coming through. Your kids are gonna love this. Nice big dish. Let's dump. Watch this as it comes out. Oh man, yeah. Now don't leave any stranded. I'm gonna garnish it with a little bit of basil leaves just on top. This is an amazing Indian-inspired mac and cheese that your children and you are going to adore. When I was a kid, I loved Caesar salad.
So I think my take on a tandoori Caesar salad is going to be amazing. But first, let me show you really the most incredible magic trick ever. How to peel one of these, a full head of garlic. What you need is 2 bowls, and they have to be equal circumference. All you do is lean on the garlic, so you kind of get all these cloves. Break it up. Then put this bowl on top and shake. Look at this. Garlic, peeled. This is a big clove. So 1 clove of garlic. So I'm gonna do the Caesar salad dressing in a mason jar because you can shake it, which is awesome, and your kids will love to do that. So much fun. Let's do our garlic clove in a garlic press because it's way simpler. 1 clove of garlic in. Let's maybe scrape off the side here. There we go. Done. Some Parmesan cheese. I'm gonna add some mayo. Now the reason why I'm adding mayo is to make it like a nice creamy Caesar salad dressing. If you wanted more of like a vinaigrette style dressing, you could omit the mayonnaise and maybe just doctor up the lemon or lime juice or vinegar component of it. Here's about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Nice. I got some lime juice. It's the juice up about half a lime. Some tandoori paste. This is my favorite store-bought brand. Now we'll add some Worcestershire sauce, probably about a teaspoon. Give it a good shake. It's probably like 6 or 7 shakes. This is anchovy paste. I know you think I'm crazy. I love anchovies. You only need a little bit, and I'll add some really nice depth to your dressing. Just give it a nice squeeze. That's literally all you need. There we go. It lasts forever in the fridge. So now we're gonna add some canola oil in. You could use another neutral flavored oil like grapeseed or vegetable oil. You could also use olive oil, I guess, but then it'd be very olive oil-y, which for a dish like this or a dressing like this is not particularly what you want. A couple cracks of black pepper. Be really careful because the tandoori paste can pack a bit of a punch. And we don't need to add any salt at all because we have Parmesan cheese in here and we have our anchovy paste. No need to adjust seasoning. And then give it a shake. And while I'm shaking this up, let me show you how to make these really delicious naan-bread croutons.
Cut 2 naans into 1-inch cubes. To your naan cubes, add half a cup of salted melted butter, half a teaspoon of nigella seeds, and half a teaspoon of cumin seeds. Toss to combine. Place on a cookie sheet. Toast in the oven at 400 degrees until golden brown and crispy. These naan croutons will take your salad from ordinary to extraordinary.
So now that our dressing is shaken up, fully emulsified, you can see this nice golden hue. You can't really have Caesar salad without romaine lettuce. Nice, crunchy. So here I have some washed romaine lettuce leaves, and I'm gonna cut them into 1/4-inch pieces, which is nice. Now at the top, if you want to get like really fancy, you can like roll these up and make them like look really nice. But there we go. Romaine lettuce in our bowl. Now let's get in some of our dressing. You don't need all of this, and it lasts for easily a week in the fridge. So we'll do that. You can always add a little bit more dressing. Can't take it away. There's that. Now let's get some of our naan croutons in, and these are really yummy. You can taste like the cumin, nigella seeds. Excellent. And these will keep in like a Ziploc bag. Easily 2 weeks. I love croutons in this salad, so I'll put quite a bit in. Let's get 2 mixers.
Give it a good toss up. This brings me back to my childhood, and I think the addition of the tandoori paste is really excellent. Big platter. Let's get a nice big pile right in the middle of our plate. Don't want to leave anything behind. There we are. Now, let's shave some Parmesan cheese right on top. So I'm just taking a veg peeler, and if you go around the top, you can get these really nice strands. Look at that, beautiful. Let's garnish with a couple of crumbled croutons. Oh yeah. And there you have it. Bright, tandoori flavored Caesar salad. Your kids made the dressing for you. They're eating some greens. How can you go wrong? My delicious tandoori Caesar salad. It can be so difficult getting your children to have fruit in their diet, so the easiest way I found is to blend it all together and make a really delicious milkshake, or in this case, a mango lassi, which is an Indian-inspired yogurt drink. So I got a mortar and pestle. Every kid is gonna love these. And let's get some green cardamom pods inside. I've only got maybe about 10. And what you need to do is just lightly crack them. And then if you lightly crack them, what you're able to do then is get the actual seeds out. You can see all these like black seeds inside. That's where all the flavor is. So let's get rid of these pods. So you can see I've removed all the pods from the green cardamom. And let me just show you here all these amazing seeds inside. And if you give it a smell, it's like really like floral and kind of smells a bit like India. And it's going to be really delicious, and I think your kids will really start to get kind of like the vibe you're trying to go for. They're like, huh, I like mango, I like milkshakes, I want another glass. So grab a step stool, have your kids do all this pounding like this, and you want it to get to a really nice even powder. And while I'm doing this, why don't I tell you about all the incredibly and easy ingredients that go into making this delicious mango lassi. Mango is a stone fruit with an incredible smell and taste. It originated in India's subcontinent and is also the national fruit of India. Unripe mangoes are used in chutneys and pickles or eaten raw with salt, chili, and lime juice. The ripe one is excellent as is or mixed in with other components for sweet dishes and even random items like sweet chili sauce. You know a mango is ripe by the smell, and also if you press your thumb into the flesh lightly, it'll bounce back kind of like a mattress. That's how you know it's ripe. I love mangoes, so I use them whenever I can. Yogurt is a staple in the Indian diet. It's used to make cosmetics, yogurt-based side dishes like raita, or blended with spices to make a refreshing drink. It's basically milk that's been heated to 85 degrees to denature the milk proteins enough to allow them to set together versus curdling. Generally speaking, for an Indian dish that calls for yogurt, you would buy plain natural yogurt. But because we have lots of choices, when I'm making side dishes or dipping sauce, I'll buy Greek yogurt because I prefer the thickness. So now that your kids have pounded out that delicious green cardamom, let's get a blender and put everything inside. So here I got some full fat yogurt. That's gonna go right inside our bowl. Done. Some frozen mango, and this will keep the milkshake nice and cool, which is nice. So I'm gonna sweeten this with some honey, and you can use maple syrup, which would be really delicious, or you could use agave, or obviously you can use regular sugar, but it's nice to add a natural sweetener. So the mango's pretty sweet, so I'm only gonna add 2 tablespoons. And to make it kind of milkshakey, I'm gonna add a little bit of heavy cream, just a splash right now, just to get it going. And why am I using heavy cream? Because creamy milkshakes are obviously better. And then obviously our green cardamom. So I got some green cardamom. And now, pop it on the blender, and let's do it. So I'm just loosening up all the frozen bits at the bottom. You can see it's a really nice color to it. You can definitely get the smell of the cardamom, and you can actually smell some of the honey, which is really nice. So I'm thinking it's a bit thick, so let's add a little bit more heavy cream. Let's just add all of this. It's probably about a quarter cup. Let's check for some seasoning, quality control. Excellent. Tart, sour from the yogurt, green cardamom comes through, honey is delicious. Let's put into 2 mugs, or glasses I should say. Look at that. You tell me how easy it's going to be to have your kids drink some of this. There you got it, mango lassi, your kids' new favorite. Cheers. Kids can be really fussy to cook for. A lot of times they don't like anything green, but it's kind of fun. You know, you have some fun with it, so you try to incorporate cool flavors that keep them kind of excited, and eventually you'll have some stuff that sticks. Mac and cheese is kind of a hard dish to beat. It's easy to make mac and cheese with different flavors versus then changing the whole idea of mac and cheese completely. So we kind of did the same thing. We added some garam masala for just a mild Indian flavor. The first bite of mac and cheese, all of a sudden you get like that ooey gooey stringy cheese, which is amazing. And then you get all the garam masala flavors. So you got like bay leaf, green cardamom, cloves, black peppercorns. It's pretty delicious. Caesar salad is great for kids because the dressing is super delicious and you get them to have some lettuce, which is usually the hard part. My Caesar salad dressing is pretty awesome. You sneak in some anchovies, which sounds crazy, but your kids will love it. It's really nice underlying saltiness. And we added some tandoori paste. And that's another way to help incorporate some of these like unique flavor profiles into something that is pretty standard in today's society. Everybody loves a good Caesar salad. The mango lassi is great for kids because they already know they like a milkshake. And all you've done is just change the direction on them. And sometimes I think that's the best approach. So a more classic milkshake would be milk, ice cream, and a flavor of some kind. We've swapped the ice cream for yogurt, kept the milk, and added fresh fruit, and then a bit of spice with green cardamom. And it works so beautifully together that it is far superior to a regular vanilla milkshake loaded with sugar. When you make a new dish, especially with something that is the opposite of what they would normally be used to, flavor-wise, you get this instant feeling of gratification that you're doing your child some justice because bringing new flavors to the table keeps your kids globally aware and it makes them appreciate new cultures.